Chapter 4196. The demon army had already arrived at the city, and a large protective array appeared, protecting the entire city. On the city wall, there were many people. There were many spirit race people, looking at the demon army outside. The casualties were heavy, but the demon army did not stop. They launched a final attack on the city. Reinforcements were still on the way, endless. In the entire demon realm, there was only one organization that specialized in dealing with the spirit race, the Demon Snake Guard. Therefore, they chose the top geniuses who could deal with the spirit race. The first wave of attacks landed on the light barrier, causing ripples to appear on the surface of the barrier. Powerful attacks were reflected back at them from within the barrier. In an instant, countless people were sent flying. Some people were injured, some people died. It was actually a large array with a counterattack. The expressions of the two deputy commanders changed. They were very surprised, because the resources used to build such a large array were not small. The spirit race had been suppressed for many years. Where did the resources come from? A person appeared on the city wall. He slowly rose into the air and looked at the demon army through the array. There was an uproar among the demon army, because that person was the famous blind spirit. The leader of the spirit race. A mysterious existence. Of course, they were more willing to say that he was a scoundrel who was good at running away. He used all kinds of holes to escape. Blind spirit, let's see where you run this time. Devil Yang Haoguang walked forward. At this moment, his eyes were full of coldness. The old blind man said, "From the moment we discovered this small world, we began to build it with all our strength. It was so that one day, we could meet you here. We finally meet." Devil Yang Haoguang said, "So, you are tired of running away like a mouse, waiting for death here? No, we have endured enough. It is time to take revenge on you." Old Blind's voice was filled with anger. "This is the devil realm you live in. You treat the spirit race as the lowest level of existence. There's nothing to say about that. But you shouldn't look down on them as people, because the devil realm's construction was all single-handedly supported by them. Cheap labor, all kinds of oppression, you know that there are many elites in the demon race. Why do we only go against the demon snake guard?" The old blind man paused and said, "Because each of you is vicious and merciless. For the so-called merits, you did not hesitate to destroy innocent spirit race clans. Just based on your mouths and the fact that there is no evidence in the end, how many innocent families have you destroyed? How many people were killed? How many non-existent merits have I exchanged for?" Mo Yang Haoguang said, "What's wrong with that? You all deserve to die. We are willing to let you live. That is the greatest mercy. I'm just borrowing your lives when I need them. What's wrong with that?" This kind of thing had already become the norm. Their job was to capture the remnants of the spirit race, so it was inevitable that they would do something like this. Even Yang Haoguang, their leader, did not feel that there was anything wrong with it. On the city wall, the others were filled with righteous indignation when they heard this. Even the leader of the demonic snake guards had such a supportive attitude. One could imagine how excessive his subordinates had been. Over the past few years, the demon snake guards had reported their achievements almost every day, saying that they had discovered the remnants of the spirit race. How many of these remnants were true? Very good, then all the more you deserve to die, the old blind man said coldly. Mo Yang Haoguang disdainfully said, "Relying on you? Just try." The conversation ended there as Old Blind and the rest left the city. "Since you want to fight to the death, then I'll fulfill your wish." Mo Yang Haoguang waved his hand again, and the people who had paused before continued to attack the barrier. Powerful rebounding forces appeared again and again, sending one entity after another flying away. Off to the side, Mo Ji Feiwen saw this scene and ordered, "Everyone, conserve some of your energy to attack. If you use up too much energy, then retreat." Maintaining the formation required the support of spirit energy. With such a large formation in operation, the consumption of spirit energy was enormous. Thus, Mo Ji Feiwen's action was to exhaust the formation until there was no more spirit energy left. As for how long it would take to break through, no one knew. Everyone began to conserve energy in their attacks. This way, no one would be injured, and the shockwaves that appeared could be easily neutralized. This kind of effect was obviously discounted, and the siege would only take a longer time. Mo Yang Haoguang glanced at Mo Ji Feiwen, who nodded and said, "All sacred spirits, attack." The sacred spirits stepped forward and began to accumulate their strength. As one attack after another tore through the air, an even stronger shockwave appeared, injuring the sacred spirits. Looking at the formation in front of them, the light was much dimmer. Mo Yang Haoguang and Mo Ji Feiwen both stepped forward, and the aura of an 8-star sacred spirit burst forth. As vice-commanders, other than having to reach the 8-star sacred spirit realm, they also had to have enough merit points. Naturally, they could not avoid an intense battle with the spirit race. The two of them were still one step away from reaching the 9-star sacred spirit realm, but they still had quite a bit of merit points to become commanders. If they could take down this city today, it would be enough for them to ascend again. Behind Mo Yang Haoguang, a tall demonic figure appeared. The sky instantly darkened, and the roiling demonic chi seemed to dim the light of the formation. The demonic figure punched out, and a vast aura surged out. On the other side, Mo Ji Feiwen also sent out a palm strike, and a pitch-black palm print covered the sky like a curtain. The two vice-commanders who had come here each displayed their powerful techniques, wanting to forcefully attack the city. The spirit race people in the city had already gathered together. When they saw the power outside the formation, their expressions all changed. If they had not always trusted old Blindy, quite a few of them would have fallen into despair by now. Wherever the demon snake guards passed, not a single blade of grass grew. Seeing the two of them take the initiative to attack, old Blindy said, "When their attacks land and the recoil takes effect, take the initiative to deactivate the formation." Based on the current situation, the formation could still hold on for quite some time. After all, they had already used up a lot of materials on it. Although they did not know why old Blindy was doing this, the sacred spirit in charge of the formation nodded. When the two's attacks landed, the entire formation began to shake. At the same time, a huge rebounding force landed on the bodies of the two deputy commanders, causing them to be sent flying. When they landed, the two of them coughed up blood, clearly injured. But the effect was also surprisingly good, because after the formation shook for a while, it actually disappeared. The crowd cheered. Wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth, Devil Yang Haoguang coldly said, "Kill your way in. Don't let a single one of them go. As for the women in the city, you can do whatever you want with them." All of the demon race people charged in, all of them extremely excited, their eyes filled with fanaticism. Because in countless battles, history had taught them that any demon of the same level could easily kill a spirit race person. In fact, any demon could fight a spirit race person 2 levels above them. The battle strength of the two sides was not even on the same level. In the blink of an eye, all of the demon race people had charged into the city. Devil Yang Haoguang and Devil Ji Feiwen were among them. The two of them naturally wanted to kill the sacred spirit. And here I thought that the leader this time would be very clever. Who would have thought that he would also be an idiot? Old Blindy's cold voice rang out. He immediately soared into the sky and swept his gaze around indifferently. "Old thing, you still won't die?" Devil Yang Haoguang was like a ray of demonic light, instantly closing in on old Blindy. The moment the two collided, old Blindy was sent flying. "Your battle strength is so weak, yet you call yourself a 9-star? Devil Yang Haoguang sneered. The 9-star old Blindy was injured by the 8-star Devil Yang Haoguang in a single blow. The battle strength of the two was indeed not on the same level. When the others encountered the demon race people, they were also forced to retreat. "Today, I will let you watch the others die with your own eyes," Devil Yang Haoguang said coldly. "It's a little early for you to boast." Old Blindy soared into the sky again, his hands forming a few seals. The array that had disappeared earlier reappeared, once again enveloping the city. At the same time, a rain of light fell from the sky. This rain of light fell on everyone's body, turning into a ray of spiritual light. The only difference was that when it fell on the spirit race people, the spiritual light would protect them, instantly increasing their strength. When it fell on the demon race people, it would suppress their strength, as if a great weight had fallen on them, affecting their strength. "Let's go again." Old Blindy, who was also protected by a ray of spiritual light, flew towards Devil Yang Haoguang. The two of them exchanged blows in midair, and Devil Yang Haoguang, who had been injured by breaking the array, was sent flying, coughing up blood. Old Blindy had also become stronger at this moment. And you. Old Blindy's second attack had heavily injured Devil Ji Feiwen. At the same time, the situation in other places was also changing. How could this be? Devil Yang Haoguang's expression changed. He had never seen such a strange array that could protect the spirit race and suppress the demon race. In this world, all of the arrays were used to protect the demon race against the spirit race. For example, in the demon city, he had walked Yuan Hai around like a dog because of the Grand Barrier Array. Old Blindy stood in the air, his long hair flying. Now you should know who is scheming against whom, right? Old Blindy formed another hand seal, and another ray of light fell. This time, it was aimed at the demon race people. All of the demon race people seemed to have been attacked, and they were all injured in an instant. Their strength was once again affected. The situation had been reversed, and their momentum was gone. If this continued, all of the demon race people would die here. Devil Yang Haoguang said, "Is this your final line of defense? I admit that it's a bit surprising, but you shouldn't have underestimated us. Do you think that we, two vice commanders, can mobilize such a large force?" As soon as he finished speaking, a strange sound rang out. It was the Grand Barrier Array. There was a gap there, as if someone had forcefully broken through it. A person was standing in the gap. This array is too much of an eyesore. He gently raised his hand and placed it on the array. In the next moment, the array collapsed. After the array collapsed, everyone saw an army of demon race people standing behind that person. There were nearly 10,000 of them. When the injured demon race people saw this person, they all bowed. "Greetings, Commander." The leader of the demon snake guards had to be at the 9-star realm. And he had to be one of the best of the 9-star realm. "Blindling, we've been looking for you for so many years, and you've finally appeared." The 9-star commander waved his hand, and the demon race army behind him forced their way into the city. However, without the commander's orders, they had yet to make a move. Old Blindy said indifferently, "We're not bad either. We've finally caught a big fish." "Oh, it seems that you're very confident." The commander smiled faintly. "What, do you think you have a way to fight me?" "Yes, fight. You must die." With Old Blindy as the center, a huge array appeared in the sky. It wasn't as big as before, but its power was even more powerful. Old Blindy stood under the array, and his aura seemed to have changed. At this moment, Old Blindy actually gave off the aura of a demon sovereign. The commander's expression became serious. "This is an ancient array of my spirit race. It has never appeared in the demon world. I saw it in an ancient book somewhere, and after many years of research, I've finally made some progress." Old Blindy said indifferently, "Now that the array has appeared, you can all die." The array in the sky began to spin, and light constantly shot out. The light that appeared turned into sword light. In the blink of an eye, there were hundreds and thousands of sword lights, and the number was still increasing. Each of the sword chi surged with a terrifying aura. The sword lights fell, but they weren't aimed at the 9-star commander. They were aimed at the demon race soldiers. Everyone below the rank of commander and vice commander was attacked. The commander stood there, completely unmoving. All of the incoming attacks would intentionally avoid him as they neared. Miserable screams rang out continuously. Those who had been injured by the previous attacks were dying one after another. It was like purgatory on earth, slaughtering all living things. The other spirit race soldiers were protected by the light. They coldly watched as the demons died one after another. It turned out that the demons could also scream before they died. They could also call for help. The light from the array diagram lasted for a quarter of an hour. Then, the array diagram in the sky gradually disappeared. The miserable cries below also disappeared. When all the strange phenomena disappeared, less than 10% of the original demon race army survived. This was the first time in tens of thousands of years that the demon snake guard had suffered such a great loss. The commander, who hadn't moved before, said indifferently, using the lives of an entire city to plot against our demon snake guard. It seems that you are also a ruthless person. However, this time your calculations are wrong, because you can't run at all. Even if you activate the teleportation array to escape, you can't escape. Old Blindy said, "Don't worry. I didn't think of running at all, because your people haven't all died yet." The array that had just dissipated in the sky appeared again. Even though its luster had dimmed a lot, it still gave the commander a sense of danger. The commander's face changed drastically. Good, good. You win. Mojang, don't just watch the show. His strange methods are indeed difficult to deal with. We came prepared, so don't let him kill us instead. Don't worry. The two of us can block his attack. Moreover, he should only have the strength for this last attack. The rest of us will die today. Another person appeared out of thin air. It was the second commander. Old Blindy said in surprise, "You sent out 2 commanders?" The commander named Mojang said, "You're wrong. It's 4. The higher-ups attach great importance to you, so it's impossible for you to run away like you did before." Old Blindy suddenly laughed. He laughed very happily, like a child with a pure smile. "You're about to die. What are you laughing about?" Mojang asked. "My laughing spirit clan has suffered humiliation in the demon realm for many years. Today, we can finally get our dignity back. There are 4 commanders and countless demon snake guards. Although I don't know how much weight they will hold among you, I still have to say that I made the right bet this time." Old Blindy raised his finger and pointed at the array. He then said, "You don't have to worry. This is not to fight against you, but to protect myself. I was afraid that you would suddenly launch a sneak attack. As for the 2 of you, there will naturally be an expert to deal with you." Old Blindy raised his hand and cupped his fist toward the sky. "We bet the lives of everyone because we believe that the expert is guarding us. On behalf of all the spirit clans in the city, I invite the expert to appear and punish us." Without a sound, a young man appeared behind the 2 commanders. Chapter 4197. Zi Chen, who was staying in the inn, gradually realized that something was amiss. Based on his past experience, the demon race had deliberately allowed them to leave. It was obvious that they were plotting something. After Yuan Hai successfully escaped from the city, the demon race forces in the city began to move. Of the people who had been monitoring Zi Chen, only one was left. Leaving behind a trace of his aura, Zi Chen left the room and followed. After leaving the city, Zi Chen's sharp soul perception discovered the abnormality in the sky. Only then did he react. When they were in the city with the demonic concealment beads, Zi Chen could not sense them because of the formation. They could even look down on Zi Chen and observe his every move. But after leaving the city, their concealment skills were greatly reduced. Zi Chen could see everything clearly. Even the conversation between the 2 deputy commanders was clearly heard by Zi Chen. The 2 seemed to be extremely confident and talked about their plan without any scruples. This made Zi Chen, who had been watching silently, decide to do something for the spirit race. He saw with his own eyes Old Blindy and the other 2 enter the restriction. Then, he saw with his own eyes the 2 mountains explode and countless demon race casualties. He had a panoramic view of the entire scene. After that, Zi Chen left. He first went to the northernmost area and saw a person there. This person was leading a group of demons to trigger spatial fluctuations. Then, he went in another direction and saw the same scene. In the end, Zi Chen returned. After dealing with the surrounding demons, he was the last one to enter the passage. The passage closed. Zi Chen had been hiding in the dark, silently watching this scene. When he saw Old Blindy kill almost 90% of the demon race army, he was extremely shocked. He secretly guessed that this was a trick within a trick and that he was completely unnecessary. But then, Old Blindy said something. Zi Chen did not think that he was an expert because he was still very far away. Moreover, he had never seen Old Blindy, so he could not have known that he was here. However, aside from Xiao Chen, no one else could possibly hide in the surroundings. Unless that person was a holy venerate, it would be impossible to avoid Xiao Chen's perception. That was why Zi Chen had appeared. Old Blindy was out of ideas and he just so happened to be able to resolve this crisis. He appeared behind the two commanders without making a sound. It was unknown whether or not Zichen was considered an expert, but the moment he appeared, the two commanders sensed his presence and immediately turned around. The two vice-commanders, Mo Yang Haoguang and Mo Ji Feiwen, noticed Zichen only after a while. "Who are you?" Mo Yang asked as he stared at Zichen. Previously, he had not sensed anything at all until the other party appeared. At this moment, the other spirit race people were also looking at Zichen. Because he might be the hope of the entire spirit race in this city. "It's you." Yuan Hai exclaimed in shock, looking extremely incredulous. Mo Feng asked, "You know him? We drank together yesterday." Yuan Hai still could not believe it. "You are that expert?" Zichen shook his head and said, "I don't know if I am the expert you are talking about, but there seems to be no one else here other than me." "It's him." When Mo Yang Haoguang and Mo Ji Feiwen heard Yuan Hai's exclamation, they also reacted and guessed Zichen's identity. However, the two of them did not expect that the person who had entered the tavern would be the spirit race's last resort. Old Blindy cupped his fists again and said, "It must be you, sir, who saved us." "Well said." Zichen released his own aura. The crowd, who were originally very vigilant, changed their expressions when they sensed Zichen's realm. Many people were stunned. This was because he was only an 8-star spirit, not even a 9-star spirit. He was one realm lower than Old Blindy. In the devil world, one's realm represented everything. It was common knowledge that a demon could defeat a demon 2 realms higher. Even a famous existence like Old Blindy could only be defeated by Mo Yang Haoguang, who was 1 realm lower than him. An 8-star spirit race member dared to call himself an expert? Mo Yang came back to his senses and said with a smile, "Are you here to be funny? A mere 8-star spirit race member dares to come here and pretend to be an expert?" The spirit race members, who were originally full of hope, now had disappointment written all over their faces. This young man's realm was not low. He was an 8-star spirit race member, and could be said to be a rare genius. Unfortunately, his enemy was too strong, and his 8-star spirit race member was almost useless. Therefore, the spirit race members looked at Old Blindy, and for the first time, there was doubt in their eyes. Old Blindy was silent, and his expression was still calm. "I didn't say that I was the expert, but there is no one else here, so I can only stand up," Zichen said seriously. Mo Yang waved his hand and said impatiently, "Haoguang, go and deal with him." Obviously, he felt humiliated that he had been played. He thought that the spirit race had some big move, but he did not expect it to be a joke. Although Mo Yang Haoguang was injured, he was still an 8-star spirit race member. Dealing with a spirit race member of the same realm was not a problem at all. Mo Yang Haoguang took the order and charged towards Zichen. He raised his hand and slapped down. The light of power flowed in his palm, and Mo Yang Haoguang was confident that he could kill his opponent with just his palm. Why did he want to kill him? Naturally, he wanted to humiliate his opponent and get back at him for everyone. Zichen clenched his fist and punched out. This punch appeared to be played down, but its might was much weaker compared to Mo Yang Haoguang's slap. Many of the spirit race members could not bear to look at it directly. However, the moment the two attacks came into contact, Mo Yang Haoguang screamed and flew backward, accompanied by the sound of his bones breaking. Such an unforeseen event caused everyone's expression to change. Mo Yang Haoguang, who was flying backward, stood there, with half of his arm hanging down and shattered. As the deputy commander, Mo Yang Haoguang's combat power was very strong, and his physical body was very tough. Yet, his arm had been shattered by a spirit race member of the same realm? "You're courting death." Mo Yang Haoguang's expression was ferocious. He felt extremely humiliated after losing so much face, so he charged forward again. This time, he clenched his left hand into a fist, and an even stronger demonic power was mobilized, causing the surrounding space to distort wildly. Faced with such a powerful attack, Zichen still only clenched his fist and attacked, and his strength was not much stronger than before. With a loud bang, a powerful ripple spread out in all directions. Mo Yang Haoguang's body flew backward again, and he coughed out a mouthful of blood. His other arm was also shattered. If the previous scene was a coincidence, then the same thing happening twice was a sign of strength. The expressions of the devil race members present all became solemn. I heard you say that the spirit race members deserved to die, and you said it was natural. Then I'll send you on your way first. As soon as he finished speaking, Zichen's figure disappeared. By the time everyone reacted, he was already behind Mo Yang Haoguang. Chapter 4198. When the spirit race members saw this expert, they had almost given up all hope. However, what happened next gave them hope again. With just 2 casual punches, he had crippled an 8-star vice commander. The speed he displayed at the end gave everyone a fright. Zichen turned around, his expression calm. Mo Yang Haoguang's body fell to the ground, no longer breathing. He was dead. Mo Ji Feiwen's expression changed drastically, and he subconsciously took a few steps back. If the other party could kill Mo Yang Haoguang so easily, killing him would be even easier. The old blind man's expression was still calm, but only he knew whether or not he was very nervous. Zichen looked at the 2 commanders and said, "Are you 2 going to come one by one, or together?" After knowing Zichen's realm, Mo Yang didn't even look at Zichen. However, with Mo Yang Haoguang's death, he had no choice but to look at the spirit in front of him. The other commander pursed his lips and said, "Interesting. For many years, we have been bullying the spirits. I didn't expect to see someone who can fight today. I'll take you on first." A black spear appeared in Zichen's hand, and he taunted, "Come here and accept your death. You have a death wish." The commander's eyes flashed with murderous intent. As he raised his hand, demonic chi surged, and his body began to swell. Like a demon god, he rushed toward Zichen. The sky darkened, and demonic chi covered the sky. Zichen stood there, his expression unchanged, but the power around his body was mobilized. It was also a black power, like demonic chi. Sensing Zichen's power, the commander's expression changed slightly. "Are you a demon?" Zichen said indifferently, "If you don't use your full strength now, you will die a horrible death." Die. The black clouds pressed down, and the commander's fist fell with a mighty aura. Perhaps because the commander didn't use a weapon, Zichen didn't either, and he met the other's fist with a punch. Powerful waves of air rolled, and Zichen stood in the air, his body motionless. The waves of air blew away the demonic chi, and a look of shock appeared in the commander's eyes. However, there was a sneer at the corner of his mouth. It was indeed very childish. A black light instantly appeared behind Zichen. Like a bolt of lightning, it was about to pierce through Zichen's body. This was his true killing move. That weapon called Black Lightning had contributed a lot to him. At this moment, Zichen's spear, which had been motionless all this time, flipped around in his hand like a venomous snake and directly pointed backwards. With a clang, lightning flashed in all directions. The Black Lightning demonic weapon returned. This time, there was genuine shock in the commander's eyes. He managed to block it. But in the next moment, his expression changed. Because the spear followed closely behind, carrying a powerful force, it crashed into the Black Lightning, followed by 3 more clanging sounds, and the 4th was the sound of an object exploding. The spear turned into a ray of light and fell into Zichen's hand. The commander's weapon had already shattered into pieces. A trace of blood seeped out from the corner of the commander's mouth. When he looked at Zichen again, he asked in a low voice, "You are not from the spirit race. Who are you?" Zichen's answer was to attack. He used the spear as a staff and smashed downwards. The momentum of the attack seemed to carry with it the might of the heavens. The commander felt an intense pressure on his body, and his expression changed again. Boundless demonic chi surged, forming a demonic shield in front of him. At this moment, his face was flushed red, and he felt that he had been greatly humiliated. Because he, a 9-star, had actually taken the initiative to defend himself against an 8-star guy. There was a loud boom. The demonic shield instantly shattered, and the spear landed on his head. Boundless power erupted, and the commander was sent flying. Zichen's feet flashed, and he quickly chased after the commander and struck again. This time, the spear swept horizontally and landed on the commander's waist. In a hurry, demonic energy appeared around the commander's body again, but it was not as vigorous as before. Bang! The demonic energy dispersed, and the commander was sent flying. Blood splattered in mid-air. Everyone was stunned. An 8-star was fighting a 9-star, and yet he still had the absolute advantage. Loud bangs continued to sound in the sky, and the 9-star commander was no longer able to fight back. He was continuously sent flying, and he could not even stabilize his body. At this rate, death was only a matter of time. A violent aura suddenly surged out from behind him. Mo Yang had made his move. Boundless demonic chi shrouded his body, constantly twisting and converging until it turned into a giant python. This was the demonic snake magic unique to the demonic snake guards, and only the commander-level existences could cultivate it. Mo Yang felt a strong threat from Zi Chen, so he immediately used his strongest technique. The demonic snake moved forward, as if it was wrapping around a part of the world. The entire city began to shake, and the boundless pressure caused many of the spirit race members in the air to fall to the ground. In the blink of an eye, only the old blind man was able to maintain his posture in the air. This was also because the array above his head had formed a protective barrier. Without the array, even a 9-star like him would not have been able to resist this aura. The strength of the demon race was not just for show. If the two sides were to fight to the death, the old blind man believed that he would not be able to withstand this attack. Zi Chen sent the demon race commander flying with one blow, then turned around to look at Mo Yang. This move is not bad, but I wonder how powerful it is. The demonic snake's eyes turned red, and 2 red bolts of lightning seemed to shoot out from his eyes and enter Zi Chen's sea of consciousness. Zi Chen smiled coldly. When it came to soul power, he had never been afraid of anyone. The soul power in his sea of consciousness surged, forming a vortex that instantly swallowed the 2 invading red lights. Immediately afterward, the demonic snake's blood-red eyes dimmed. At this time, the demonic snake had also arrived in front of Zi Chen. It opened its mouth wide, as if the entrance to a dark world had been opened. Countless waves of suppressive power surged toward Zi Chen. Die! A murderous intent appeared in Zi Chen's eyes. The long spear in his hand shook, and the boundless black power that lingered on the spear seemed to be about to emit rays of golden light. The spear in his hand flew out like an arrow from a bow and entered Mo Yang's mouth. In the next moment, the long spear flew out of the demonic snake's back and drew a semicircle in the sky before falling back into Zi Chen's hand. A series of explosions rang out from the demonic snake's body, and the tumbling demon chi disappeared, revealing Mo Yang's figure. His face was pale, and there was a bloody hole in his chest. Blood continued to flow from the gaps between his fingers as he covered the bloody hole. On the other side, when the commander, who was about to transform into a snake, saw this scene, he immediately withdrew the demon chi from his body. At this moment, all the demon race soldiers present had horror written all over their faces. I advise you not to run away, because fighting to the death is your only chance of survival. Zi Chen glanced at the 2 of them and said, if you think that the 2 9-stars outside can help you, then you're thinking too much. Both of them are already dead. Hearing this, the 2 commanders immediately fled. How would they dare to fight again? Mo Ji Feiwen had long seen that the situation was not good, so he quietly slipped away into the distance. Zi Chen shook his head and sighed. What's the point of this? He began to form a seal, and suddenly, 3 bright lights appeared in the sky. They were 3 huge thunderbolts that fell from the sky and landed on the 3 of them. Chapter 4199. In the previous battle, no one had been able to determine whether this expert was a demon or a spirit. But the final 3 thunderous attacks had confirmed Zi Chen's identity. The 3 world-destroying thunderbolts killed 2 commanders and 1 deputy commander. Moreover, from the other party's words, the 2 commanders standing guard outside had died as well. In this battle, the demon snake guard had lost 4 commanders. As for the other demons, they were dumbfounded. They had been lucky enough to survive the previous battle and were currently heavily injured. There's no need for me to do the rest, right? The somewhat pale Zi Chen turned to Old Blindy and the others. Everyone naturally understood what to do, and they began to charge down. All the demons were heavily injured and no longer posed a threat to the spirits. The higher level could kill the lower level. Originally, Zichen should have gone to look for those commanders to finish them off. That was because they had a medallion that could hide their souls. But after using the lightning controlling art, this cumbersome step was cancelled, because no one could survive under the lightning controlling art. Even if they had hidden life-saving measures, they would be destroyed under the lightning controlling art. Yuan Hai was slaughtering the demons in the battle, but he had been paying attention to Zichen the entire time. Even now, he still did not dare to believe that the youth he had thought to be a fool was actually so powerful. Under the effects of the formation, Old Blindy helped deal with the other experts. Next was cleaning up and wrapping up the mess. Many thanks, my lord. Old Blindy stepped forward and cupped his fists in thanks. Zichen asked, "Are you sure that I'm that person?" Zichen did not recognize Old Blindy, and this was also the first time he had heard of this spirit faction. In a situation where the two sides had never interacted, how could Old Blindy have predicted that he would come? Divination techniques. Although they were miraculous, they were not 100% accurate. He believed that Old Blindy would never gamble with so many lives. Because without 100% certainty, it was not worth it no matter how one looked at it. Old Blindy did not immediately answer, as if he was considering how to answer. Zichen said, "I don't believe in deductions. Before this, I received news that a spirit race expert was nearby, so I decided to beat him at his own game." Zichen asked, "Who gave you the information?" The blind old man said, "My lord, we were able to go so smoothly this time because my lord blocked out the biggest accident." Zichen's expression changed. "Demon sovereign?" Old Blind nodded. Zichen said, "In that case, we can't stay here any longer. If we don't leave now, we'll be in trouble." Old Blindy had already made arrangements for this. Everyone cleaned up the battlefield as quickly as possible. Although they had won a great victory this time, the spirit race had lost a world that they had been managing for many years. All of the spirit race individuals in the city began to move about. Zichen, on the other hand, was looking around curiously. This time, he had witnessed the wondrous effects of the formation. Other than the leaders, the others had all been killed by the formation. The previously timid children were now looking at Zichen, their innocent eyes filled with curiosity. Zichen sat down and waved at the children. The children retreated as if they were afraid of Zichen. Zichen smiled as he walked forward. When he arrived in front of the children, he asked, "Were you afraid earlier?" Some of the children nodded, but a few of the older ones shook their heads. They were not very old, but they had already begun to cultivate. Perhaps it was because of the environment, but the spirit race individuals here were not very strong. "How can you be so strong?" a bold child asked. The demon race is 2 cultivation realms stronger than the spirit race, but they say that you can kill demon race individuals above your cultivation level. Zichen smiled. "Because I'm very hardworking in my cultivation." "Hardworking is enough?" the child asked in confusion. The other children all stared at Zichen with wide eyes. Zichen thought for a moment, then said, "Other than hardworking, you also need to be hardworking. You've all begun to practice your martial arts, right?" The group of children nodded excitedly, because they thought of Zichen's punch. They were both punches, but Zichen's punch was able to send a demon race individual flying. Then practice diligently. If you practice one move 1,000,000 times, you'll naturally become stronger. This is what they mean by practice makes perfect. Old Blindy walked over and gestured for Zichen to take care of everything. Zichen asked, "What do you plan to do with these people?" Old Blindy said, "I have something that will allow everyone to squeeze in. When the time comes, I only need a small number of people to follow me." Zichen said, "If there are too many people, we'll become too big of a target. I have a large hall that can accommodate everyone. If you trust me, why don't you let everyone into the hall? Then I'll take everyone away." "I trust you, of course I trust you." Old Blindy trusted Zichen completely. Zichen took out the Zichen Hall. This hall was not disguised, so its surface was surging with powerful thunder aura. Countless thunder snakes were swimming around it. The spirit race people all looked at the hall. This was the spirit race's hall that was full of aura. Old Blindy said, The women and children will enter the hall first. The rest of you will clean up the battlefield and follow closely behind. Old Blindy stood beside Zichen and silently watched this scene. Rays of light fell from the Zichen hall and landed on everyone's bodies. A powerful suction force appeared. Back then, the Zichen hall could even take away the entire lost race. Now, it could take away the people in the city. Of course, it was nothing. Sir, your power seems to be a little different, Old Blindy said. Zichen said, I put on some disguises before coming here. It seems to be working well. Old Blindy's expression changed. Sir, you're from. Zichen nodded and said, I heard that something happened here, so I came to take a look. Did you find any clues? The demon race is extremely cautious about this matter. At present, we haven't found any valuable clues. Old Blindy shook his head and said, this time, the demon snake guard sent out a large army to suppress us and prevent us from prying into those secrets. Fortunately, Sir came and helped us resolve this crisis. What do you plan to do with this world? Zichen asked. Old Blindy said, it has no value. After leaving, I will destroy it. Since you don't plan to come, then just forget about it. It would be a pity to destroy it directly. Old Blindy nodded. It didn't matter whether they left it or destroyed it. The task of cleaning up the battlefield was not complicated. They just needed to collect the corpses, the scattered weapons, and the broken armor materials. After all the cultivators in the city moved out, the battlefield was quickly cleaned up. Then, everyone entered the Zichen hall. Only Old Blindy was left. He needed someone to lead the way for Zichen. With a flash of light, Zichen and Old Blindy appeared in the demon world. Because of Zichen's words, the previous world was preserved. The urgent matter at hand was to bring the spirit race in Zichen Hall to another secret place. Along the way, Old Blindy told Zichen many local customs. It was nothing more than various kinds of oppression. In addition to the oppression of the demon race, there is also the oppression of the world and the rejection of the laws. Old Blindy said, so many people want to obtain the power of the demon race. Becoming a demon is not only a change of identity, but also a change of the laws of the world. In this place, only the demon race can become strong. Zichen listened in silence. The place they were going to this time was called the Fifth Realm. The previous one was the Ninth Realm. They were both independent worlds. Zichen asked, since there are so many spirit race, how do you survive? How do you get cultivation resources? Old Blindy said, trade. Trade. Zichen was a bit confused. Trade with the spirit race living in this world? Not the spirit race, but the demon race. Old Blindy said, if it were the spirit race, given the temperament of the demon snake guards, they would probably kill most of the spirit race in this world. The demon race is willing to trade with you? Zichen was a bit curious. There are some neutral demon race that do not reject us. Of course, the main reason is that both sides benefit. Every time they trade with us, they will lower the price a bit. From this, they can make a huge profit. Old Blindy talked about a few trades. This was a history of blood and tears. There was no lack of black-on-black transactions. The spirit race had suffered great losses several times. Not only did they lose their resources, but not a single person returned alive. However, those black-on-black factions had also paid a terrible price. For example, their entire race had been exterminated. In history, the spirit race had launched large-scale sneak attacks because the other party did not follow the rules. Old Blindy sighed, unless it is absolutely necessary, we will not take the initiative to attack, even if we lose some benefits. However, when we cannot bear it anymore, we naturally have to go all out. We also suffered great losses during those times. When we were surrounded by the demon snake guards, many of our companions did not return. However, it also served as a great deterrent. Later on, the demon race only dared to lower the price when trading with us. This time, the demon snake guards suffered great losses. And the things we looted from them will be taken out to trade with the demon race. Old Blindy said, this is the source of our income. Zichen said curiously, they even dare to eat the equipment of the demon snake guards. It seems that the demon race faction you are trading with is not ordinary. Those that dare to remain neutral are all factions with demon sovereigns. When we arrive, we can ask them for some information. Of course, that information will not be given for free. We will have to pay for it. At this moment, someone whistled through the sky. It was a small team of 5. Old Blindy transmitted, "It's the demon snake guards. A typical team of 5. 3 of them are good at close combat and 2 of them are good at long-range attacks. You two, stop right there." A devilish being roared at the 2 of them as he flew toward them at top speed. Zi Chen and Old Blindy came to a stop. "Have you seen the demon snake guards?" the person in front asked. Zi Chen shook his head and said, "I haven't seen them." "Impudent. My demon snake guards have mobilized." "You too haven't seen them?" This time, the demon snake guards had mobilized tens of thousands of people. Among them, there were 4 commanders and 6 vice-commanders. They had said that they were going to attack the spirit race, but there was no news of them at all. Zi Chen shook his head once more. Why waste words with him? Just capture him and interrogate him like a spirit race survivor, the person next to him said impatiently. In an instant, the 5 of them assumed battle stances. 3 in front and 2 behind. Chapter 4200. Even though he had a certain understanding of the demonic snake guards, Zi Chen was still somewhat surprised by the scene before him. Looking at the 5 people who had already assumed battle stances, the old Blindy said, "The demonic snake guards have always been like this. Slandering the spirit race is their natural duty. How could there be so many spirit race people in this world who would resist? They just want to frame us." Zi Chen said, "If that's the case, then there won't be any more burdens." He waved his hand, and a gust of wind appeared and soared into the sky. The 3 people who were charging forward were unsteady, and the 2 people who were forming hand seals at the back were also disrupted. When the 5 people saw this, their expressions changed greatly. The person in the lead shouted, "Sir, this is a misunderstanding." The black gust of wind approached and turned into a powerful hurricane, enveloping the 5 people. Like being cut by a knife, the 5 people's defenses were instantly shattered, and then their bodies were attacked by 1,000 cuts. When the gust of wind dissipated, the 5 people had lost their lives. Zi Chen glanced at the old Blindy and said, "Consider this my contribution to the spirit race." The old Blindy collected the 5 corpses, not showing any courtesy to Zi Chen. This was because Zi Chen had not collected the corpses of the commanders from before either. The spirit race people here did not have a good life, and Zi Chen was only one person here, so he could not help them too much. Naturally, he would help as much as he could. As they continued forward, Zi Chen suddenly said, "We can slow down a bit." The old Blindy immediately understood Zi Chen's meaning and said, "Do you want to change people? No one knows what you look like, right?" Zi Chen asked. "I'm afraid of causing trouble for you, sir." "I'm here to cause trouble." The disappearance of 4 commanders and tens of thousands of demonic snake guards was of course a big matter, and the demonic snake guards were constantly sending out divine spirits to search for them. Soon, Zi Chen and the old Blindy were stopped by a second group, and they still wanted to capture the remaining survivors. Zi Chen did not waste any more words. After shaking his head twice, he immediately took action, contributing to the spirit race's development again. They did not advance quickly, neither fast nor slow. As long as they were not divine venerables, he could deal with any enemy that came. Asterisk 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 Zi Chen had only collected all the corpses. He had not cleaned up the traces of the battle. It was not difficult for the demon snake guards to find this place. The leader was still a commander. After the 4 commanders had lost contact with him, he had stayed in a nearby city. Now, he was ordered to come here to investigate. There were traces of a battle here, and there was a lot of demon blood, but there was no trace of the demon snake guards. He scanned the area with his soul power and discovered the teleportation channel. Could it be that they've all entered this place and are hunting down the astrals? The commander opened the passageway, and he stepped in first. The others entered in a single file, and then stood in the air, in a state of alert. There was no one in sight, only a city and a complete mess. This world was empty, but the smell of blood was very strong, indicating that a large-scale battle had taken place here. When the devil snake guards saw this, their expressions changed, and their eyes filled with disbelief. Even the commander's expression changed. He had a bad feeling in his heart. Everyone flew forward. Because the sky restriction domain was still in place, they suffered some small losses. Then, everyone advanced on the ground and arrived outside the city. Compared to the mess they had seen along the way, the battle here was much better. The entire city had not suffered much damage. It could be seen that the battle outside was very intense, but the battle in the city was much less intense. What had happened? There were so many demon snake guards, so why did they stop fighting after arriving here? Why did they disappear? The commander had a bad feeling in his heart, because this disappearance was very likely to be death. Now, apart from searching, they could only wait for the latest news from headquarters. Search. Look for any suspicious clues. The commander waved his hand, and everyone scattered. After a while, they made a new discovery. A teleportation channel that seemed to be used to leave had been forcefully destroyed. This teleportation channel was not big and could not allow everyone in the city to leave. Look again. The commander already had a certain answer to his original guess. They found nothing. Confused, everyone decided to evacuate. As soon as they returned to the entrance, the latest news came. The life tablets of the 4 commanders, the vice commanders, and tens of thousands of demon snake guards were all shattered. As the news spread, there was an uproar. Such a loss was unprecedented. How many spirit tribe members were there in this small world to be able to kill tens of thousands of elite soldiers? 4 9-star commanders had died one after another. Could there be a saint venerable among the spirit tribe? At this moment, a demon snake guard flew in from another direction. Sir, we have the latest news. The city lord of the demon ward city was killed for no reason. The frustrated commander said indifferently, "What does this have to do with us?" The subordinate continued, "The son of the city lord of the demon ward city, Huai Du, is also dead. He was the captain of the demon snake guards. According to the news, he was killed when he was chasing after the remaining demons." The commander looked around and said, "Spread out and look for clues. I will go to the demon ward city." A city without a city lord would naturally be in chaos. However, this was not what Mo Phage was concerned about. He wanted to know who the remaining spirit tribe member was. Perhaps he could find some clues. The others spread out in all directions to look for possible spirit tribe members. Mo Phage took 2 of his subordinates and went straight to the demon ward city. The demon ward city was still peaceful. There was no big commotion, but everyone in the city was talking about the strange phenomenon that day. Many people said that the spirit tribe member deserved it. Under such a peaceful situation, there were many conflicts of interest and the fight for the next city lord. Mo Phage spread out his soul power and found a commander. The commander was secretly discussing with his subordinates about seizing power. Mo Phage's sudden appearance in front of them gave everyone a fright. "You don't need to tell me about your matters. I am here to ask about the remaining spirit tribe member," said Mo Phage, looking at the pale-faced people who were obviously frightened. The remaining spirit tribe member did not appear. The commander was the first to react and told him what he knew. Mo Phage listened quietly. His expression began to change. This was not the first time that the demon snake guards had used such a trick. He was familiar with it. In fact, when he was young, he had done it many times. But this time, things seemed to be different. There was actually a demon willing to stand up for the spirit tribe. After thinking about it, Mo Phage decided to go and see for himself to see if it was true. When he arrived at the Lian family, Mo Phage found that this family was the calmest in the entire city. In other words, they were the only ones who had not participated in this conflict of interest. If the information was correct, being able to stay alive was already the greatest benefit for them. "Let your patriarch come out and talk." Mo Phage's cold voice rang out. He was already sitting in the Lian family's guest hall. Lian Lijue flew over. When he saw Mo Phage, he bowed to him. The steward came with Lian Lijue, but he did not dare to enter. "Let me ask you. A few days ago, Did Huaido come here to capture the remaining spirit tribe members? Mo Fage asked coldly. Sir, please clear the Lian family's name. Lian Lijua bowed again and said, that was true, but there are no remaining spirit tribe members in the Lian family. Everything was just a misunderstanding. Lian Lijua explained the situation in much more detail than what the commander had told him. This included how the city lord had recognized Zi Chen as a demon the first time he attacked, so he immediately said that it was a misunderstanding. He explained everything in detail. Even the building that Zi Chen had destroyed had not been repaired. Instead, the Lian family treated it like a sacred place. Because of this indescribable fate, the Lian family had avoided a disaster. Lian Lijua went to take a look. He muttered to himself, could it be that an important person descended from the heavens? Recently, the demon realm had not been peaceful. Important people had appeared everywhere. Of course, Mo Fage himself was an important person. But he had never heard of an important person with a demonic beast. He did not suspect too much. He just thought that Huaido was a fool. As for the city lord, he was used to throwing his weight around in this small place. Did he really think that he was the heavenly king? But that person had a good temper. If it had been him, he might have killed the city lord and accused him of colluding with the spirit tribe. That would have been a great achievement. The demon snake guards had captured many spirit tribe members over the years, but they had also captured some demons who had colluded with the spirit tribe. Compared to the former, capturing the latter gave more achievements. The round trip took less than a day. Mo Fage, who had not found any clues, was very depressed. At this time, a subordinate came to report that more than 10 people had gone missing. They had lost contact with them. Oh, did they find something? Every small team of holy spirits had a detailed plan of their route. When all the teams were combined, it was like a large net, leaving no place for the enemy to hide. Mo Fage looked at the route the holy spirits had taken and asked, did they send more troops? Another 5 teams were sent over. 5 teams meant 25 people. Even if they could not kill the dead spirit tribe members, they could delay them for a while. Let's go and take a look. At the same time, inform the others to approach this direction. Once we find the spirit tribe members, kill them all. Mo Fage pointed at the map and said, yes. Asterisk 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 Zi Chen and Old Blindy were still walking forward. They found that their demon snake guards were like mechanical puppets, saying the same thing. After they finished talking about the dead spirit tribe members, they were all killed by Zi Chen. Old Blindy walked forward and collected the corpses and soul weapons. Is this the power of that place? Old Blindy was a little surprised because the power Zi Chen had displayed was too strong. It is indeed better than this world, but not by much. Zi Chen said, there are wars and chaos everywhere. Killing people is more common there. If we just look at the overall environment, the atmosphere there is quite good. Old Blindy sighed, it's a pity that we can't see it. Zi Chen was puzzled and asked, this is the demon world. Why are there spirit tribe members here, and so many of them? This was a question that had always been in his heart. Why did the spirit tribe not stay in their own world but come to the demon world to suffer? It all started many years ago. At that time, there was a great war between the spirit tribe and the demon world. The demon race invaded the spirit world, causing great suffering in the spirit world. In the end, the demon race did not succeed in invading the spirit world. When they returned in defeat, they brought some slaves to the demon world. This was not the first time Old Blindy had answered this question, so he did not hesitate and said very smoothly, today, a portion of the spirit tribe members were born in this way. But there is also a portion of them who followed the demon world people and killed their way here. They are the descendants they left behind in this world. Most of the spirit tribe members that the demon snake guards want to capture are of this type. For countless years, the demon race who have been recuperating have always wanted to kill their way into the spirit world. They have tried one plan after another, but none of them succeeded. Old Blindy changed the topic and said, however, there has always been a legend in the demon world. When the demon god awakens, it will be the time when the spirit world and the demon world go to war. At that time, The awakened demon god will only need a glance to see through the sturdy gate of the spirit world. Demon god? Is that an existence that surpasses the demon sovereign? Zichen's expression changed. Until now, he only knew that the strongest person in the world was the saint. This is only a legend. No one has seen the demon god. Even the demon race people do not believe in the existence of the demon god. Otherwise, they would not have tried to enter the spirit world time and time again. However, the only thing that is confirmed to exist is the legendary demon god beast. It is said that it is the demon god's war pet. Just as they were talking, there was an abnormality in the sky. Zichen said, "It seems that they have discovered us. There are quite a few people coming." The two of them continued to walk at a moderate pace. The 5 small teams quickly approached them. One of them said, "Let's take them down first." This time, they did not even need to talk. However, this was also good. Zichen's figure flashed and appeared in front of that person. Just as the other party's expression changed drastically, Zichen's fist landed on the other party's head. With a bang, the demon snake guard fell to the ground. He was dead. Following that, Zichen's figure flashed again. Like a bolt of lightning, he began to wander around the group. Every time he came into contact with them, one of them would definitely fall to the ground. When the others saw this, they immediately retreated. Obviously, they knew that they had encountered a powerful character. One of them sent a message to the sky. Zichen did not stop them because he could not stop them. The only thing he could do now was to kill the people in front of him before the other demon snake guards arrived. After using all his strength, Zichen killed the enemies very quickly. In the blink of an eye, he had killed all the demon snake guards. The old blind man stood below and collected the last corpse. While Zichen was fighting, he did not stay idle. After collecting the corpse, the old blind man lamented, "If our people were as strong as you, the spirit race living in this world would be much better." Zichen's figure landed. He did not know what to say because in the entire Saint Spirit realm, there was only one such person like Zichen. The two of them continued forward. However, this time, they did not go very far before they were surrounded by the Saint Spirits. These holy spirits had varying levels of cultivation. Zichen no longer had any misgivings and began to attack. Those with lower cultivation levels immediately retreated when they saw that the situation was not good. There were many Saint Spirits. Of course, Zichen would not be able to deal with them all. Some of them began to flee. In another direction, Mo Phage, who had received the news, was rushing over with 2 vice commanders. P.S. 2 in 1. Chapter 4201. Old Blindie brought Zichen to a mansion built into the mountains. The mansion was spacious and connected to several mountains. In front of the door stood a stone pillar with the words Jing Mansion engraved on it. The door was wide open and there were no guards. As the two of them passed through the 2 words, Old Blindie produced a command medallion. He waved it around and then entered the mansion. The closest city was still 1,000 kilometers away. Along the way, they passed through the mountains. After a few simple decorations, the scenery became extremely beautiful. There were no servants. Perhaps they were deliberately avoiding them. Under Old Blindie's guidance, the two of them reached the peak of the mountain and saw a large hall. A person stood in front of the hall. Looking at the two of them, he smiled. Rare guests. Truly rare guests. It was an old man. He seemed to be in good spirits and wore a sincere smile on his face. Old Blindie cupped his hands toward the old man. "I've been busy lately. It really has been a long time." The old man leaned to the side and said, "Please." He didn't enter first as he usually did. Old Blindie was a bit surprised, but didn't say anything. He walked in front. Zichen was a bit slower and followed behind. This old man was the customer that Old Blindie had mentioned. The two of them had come to the Jing Mansion to make a deal and to gather some information. After entering the hall, the door closed automatically. The fragrance of tea wafted through the air, but there was no one in sight. Zichen looked around, using his soul force to probe every inch of the place. As usual, the restrictions have been lifted. Only the 2 of us, no, the 3 of us, will know what's to be traded. The old man smiled and indicated for the two of them to sit down. He slowly pushed the cups of tea he had prepared earlier toward the two of them. The blind old man nodded in thanks, but he did not drink it. Zichen, on the other hand, took a sip. He was curious about the tea in this world. It tasted bitter in his mouth, but there was a hint of sweetness in the aftertaste. During this time, the old man's attention was mostly on Zichen. He seemed to be very curious about him. Daoist-ling, you usually come alone. Why did you bring someone today? And someone so young at that? The old man asked with a smile. This time, there are more items than usual. I can't handle them all by myself, so I called for another person. Apart from that, we also need to gather some information, said the blind old man. The old man said awkwardly, you know the rules. Doing business with you puts a lot of pressure on us, so we can only do business with you. Old Blind nodded. Don't worry. Name your price. Then let me see how many good things you've brought this time. Speaking of business, the old man was very curious. Old Blind stood up and took a few steps back. Spiritual light flickered in front of him as items appeared one after another. They were all weapons of the demon race, and many of them were protective armors. Looking at these things, the old man's expression changed. With his eyesight, he naturally recognized the unique symbol on them. Demon Snake Guard. All the weapons were from the Demon Snake Guard. What happened last time was still spreading like wildfire. As the head of the Jing residence, he had no choice but to listen. The tens of thousands of Demon Snake Guards disappeared within a day, along with several commanders. It was said that they were swept away by a mysterious energy and brought to another world. This was what was told to the outside world to avoid panic. As the head of the Jing residence, the old man naturally had first-hand information. They were all dead. All dead. The weapons that appeared in front of him proved this point. Soon, the surroundings were full. The old man waved his hand and a restrictive power appeared, enveloping the surroundings. The space in the main hall changed. An independent space appeared, and all the soul weapons and armors were sucked into it. The surroundings became spacious again as all the soul weapons entered that space. Only the armors and soul weapons remained. The old man said, "We've done business for many years, but it seems you still don't trust me. Last time, the 4 commanders disappeared, and there were tens of thousands of demon snake guards. How many Holy Spirit level armors were there?" Old Blind said, "It's not that I don't trust you, but I'm afraid there are too many. The Jing residents can't handle them all." The old man said indifferently, "Not to mention this little, even if there were several times more, it wouldn't be a problem." Zichen sat to the side and drank his tea. Both sides had their own way of doing business, so he didn't want to participate. Old Blind took out the armors and higher-grade soul weapons. The old man's eyes lit up. When the 4 highest-grade commander armors appeared, the old man glanced at Zichen. Zichen poured himself a cup of tea. "It seems the rumors are true. You spirit race people really did kill all the demon snake guards." The old man's expression became a bit awkward. "But, to suddenly take out so many things, it's not easy to negotiate. I'm afraid the price will be greatly discounted." Old Blind said, "How much is this? Didn't you say it could be 10 times more?" The old man shook his head and said, "It's not the same. These things are all of high quality. If I want to get rid of them, it won't be easy, and I'll use up a lot of my connections." Zichen put down his teacup and said, "Even though some of these things are broken, they can still be repaired to make a good number of complete armors. As for the demon snake guard's insignia, it shouldn't be too hard to erase them. At that time, it won't be a problem to equip an army of 10,000 people. This is obviously a big business that has been delivered to your doorstep. Why do you have to purposely lower the price and put on such an awkward expression?" The old man said in a low voice, "Young friend, are you new here? How can you not know the rules? Do you know what kind of business this is? And what kind of price would I have to pay to make a deal with you? What? Are you blaming me for this? If you don't believe me, then take these things away. The Jing residents will not do business with you spirit race people." Zichen continued to sit there, his expression calm. All these years, I've heard that you've always adhered to the most basic principles of honesty in doing business. Even if you purposely lower the price, the agreed-upon price has never changed. What, have you seen too many resources today, causing the profits to go to your head? The old man said coldly, "Young man, what is the meaning of this?" Then, the old man looked at Old Blind. "Spirit Tao, where did you find this young man? How can he be so ignorant?" Zichen sighed and said, "It seems that the principles I learned all those years ago are still useful at all times. Everything is for profit. A staunch ally who hasn't betrayed you, not only because you keep your promises, but also because you don't have enough leverage to betray me. Put away these things and let's go. We won't do business with you today, and we won't do business with you in the future. Do you really think that you can take away the things I've taken out?" Chapter 4202. As soon as the old man finished speaking, the equipment capable of equipping an army of 10,000 disappeared. Old Blindy's expression changed. The Jing residence was really going to do a double cross. This sort of thing hadn't happened for many years. Moreover, their dealings with the Jing residents had been going on for over 1,000 years. "Jingchuan, what is the meaning of this?" Old Blindy looked at the old man. "It seems that after so many years of trading, you've already forgotten my real name. I'm Mo Jingchuan. No matter what, we're still demons. It's one thing for you to fight on a small scale, but this time, you actually dared to kill so many demon snake guards. How audacious." Mo Jingchuan extended 5 fingers. "If the information is true, you've killed 5 commanders, 5 demon snake guards and an army of tens of thousands. You're now wanted by the entire demon realm. Do you really think I'll let you go?" The old man patted his chest. "I'm a demon. I have an obligation to do my part for the demon race." Zichen looked him in the eye. "You're making greed sound so refined. This is the first time I've seen it. However, because of your stupidity, you'll bring harm to everyone in the Jing residence. I originally wanted to give you a chance to live by taking the item and leaving, but I didn't expect you to keep it. I don't care what you did with the Devil Snake Guard, but this action is the main reason for your Jing Mansion's destruction. Of course, after you die, whether or not the demon snake guards you've made an agreement with will take your corpses back to claim credit for capturing the demons who colluded with the spirit race has nothing to do with us." Mo Jingchuan's expression changed. Zichen laughed. "Now, I'll give you 10 seconds to gather your people. After 10 seconds, I'll start a massacre." "You?" Mo Jingchuan laughed mockingly. 10. Zichen began counting. Old Blindy sighed and didn't say anything. If Zichen wasn't here, he would have suffered a calamity. 9. Zichen counted down. "Let's see where your confidence comes from." Mo Jingchuan clapped his hands and several ripples appeared in the hall. Then, a formation appeared out of thin air. This is a killing formation unique to the Jing clan. It has only been used 3 times in the past. Unless you are a heavenly sovereign, don't even think about surviving. 7. Zichen's expression remained calm. He didn't even raise his head to look at the array diagram. Old Blind's expression turned nervous because he didn't know how many tricks Zichen had up his sleeves. 6. Seeing how calm you are, it seems that I have underestimated you. After all, you are an existence capable of killing a commander. In that case, I'll give you another killing formation. Mo Jingchuan waved his hand again. This killing array is extraordinary. Even a sacred sovereign would be injured by it. 5. Zichen glanced at Mo Jingchuan again. His eyes seemed to say, there are still 5 seconds left. Perform as you please. Mo Jingchuan said, I've investigated you. After you killed Mo Phage, I've been investigating you. You're just a demon with decent combat strength. But I don't know why you're with the Spirit Clan. You can kill a 9-star commander, but you're not a heavenly sovereign. So, you'll definitely die today. 3. 2. Zichen's eyes flashed with coldness. 1. As soon as he finished speaking, a ray of light flew forward and pierced through Mo Jingchuan's body. The other party's body twisted and then disappeared. If you want to kill me, you'll have to walk out alive. Mo Jingchuan's voice sounded from outside the hall. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Outside the Jing clan, there were several mountains. At this moment, a person was sitting on one of the mountains where one could see the clan. He was the commander of the demon snake guards. He leaned against a large rock, looking very lazy. From this direction, he could see the main hall of the Jing clan. At this moment, the main hall lit up. Oh, they've activated the killing formation? The commander's eyes lit up. A ray of light flew in from afar and landed in front of the man. Sir, Mo Jingchuan has activated the killing formation and is about to kill the Spirit Clan. The man nodded. Mo Jingchuan invited us to watch the Spirit Clan leader's death. Should we go? Asked the man. The commander said calmly, why should we go? Does this have anything to do with us? The man was startled and puzzled. Others don't know about that mysterious guy, but don't you know? What if the killing formation can't kill him and he escapes? Aren't we going to die? The commander said calmly, isn't it better for us to stay here and watch the show? Let them fight each other. We'll only talk about cooperation with the winner. The commander seemed to have thought of something and laughed. Of course, we'll be the winner in the end. Although the man wasn't the vice commander, he had followed the commander for many years and knew the commander's temperament. After the commander's explanation, he understood the commander's plan. His eyes were filled with fanaticism. You should know what I, Liu Zhen, hate the most in my life, right? The man nodded. Liu Zhen said, framing others. It's not that I don't think those Spirit Clan members deserve to die, but that they're too petty. For the meager amount of resources they've accumulated, they set people up and ruined their families. Some even set up an entire clan for a woman. Liu Zhen shook his head. Petty. Too petty. The higher-ups of the Demon Snake Guard aren't idiots. How could they not see that? That's why some people always complain that they don't have enough merit points. If you ask me, it's because the higher-ups are merciful. If it were me, I wouldn't have any merit points at all. I worked so hard to raise you all. Did I just let you eat, drink, and play, then find some random person to mess with me? The man next to him nodded silently. This was the commander's extraordinary ability. Of all the commanders of the Demon Snake Guard, only the commander in front of him didn't have the demon surname. He was the only one. What was the reason for the 5 commanders being killed this time? Do you really think they reached this point by relying on battle after battle and actual merit points? Liu Zhen said disdainfully, that's just a small trick. Speaking of which, other than accumulating merit points like old oxen, the reason they were able to become commanders was because of their clan's contributions. Liu Zhen pointed at the Jing residents in front of them and said, do you see that? This is real merit. Even if we can't get anything back in the end, as long as we can bring back evidence of their collusion with the Spirit Clan, even if there's no proof, it's still a great merit. Boom. At that moment, a huge tremor suddenly sounded out. The main hall that had already been set up was forcefully destroyed by a wave of energy. Chapter 4203. After Mo Jingchuan activated the formation and disappeared, Zi Chen and Old Blindy disappeared as well. There was only one hall left in this room. It was Zi Chen's hall. Zi Chen had witnessed how terrifying this world's formation was. Moreover, many of the Demon Snake Guards had fled during his battle with Mo Phage, so there were many who knew of Zi Chen's strength. Even under such circumstances, Mo Jingchuan still dared to attack him. It was clear that he had made ample preparations. Therefore, Zi Chen had never planned to face this formation head-on. After entering Zi Chen's hall, Old Blindy sighed. I didn't expect to lose the item before the deal was done. Zi Chen comforted him. This is actually a good thing. At least I'm still here. If they wait until I'm not here and then turn against me, it'll be too late. The formation outside activated, and an independent space appeared. A destructive power kept attacking Zi Chen's hall. Zi Chen's hall did not move at all. This was the hall that Zi Chen had created in the past. One could imagine how sturdy it was. Outside the hall, Mo Jingchuan was very pleased with himself. This time, he had obtained so much equipment without paying any price. Apart from that, he had also gotten closer to one of the Demon Snake Guards. When the time came, The two of them would each get what they needed. He looked at the hall in front of him, which was constantly glowing, and sneered. It's not that I don't keep my word. It's just that you're too greedy. You killed so many demon snake guards. Who can protect you when the demon race is angry? The formation was still rumbling, making a huge commotion. Mo Jingchuan shook his head. I thought you had some tricks up your sleeve, but there's no movement at all. You're dead for sure. Even a Saint Venerable would be seriously injured by now. It seems that I overestimated you. If I had known, I would have saved some of my power. After all, the method to replenish this power has been lost. Now, it's one less power to use. By the way, is that Commander Liu not here yet? Mo Jingchuan suddenly asked. He's not here yet, someone behind him replied. Then let's not bother with him. In any case, we've already obtained the great merit. Mo Jingchuan was immensely proud of himself. Soon, a quarter of an hour had passed, and the powerful might of the formation began to slow down. Even the energy has been depleted. Let's see if you can still survive. But I'm a little worried. If I destroy your corpses, will it be easy to get contribution points? At this moment, a loud tremor suddenly rang out. The array formation in the main hall shattered, and the roof was pierced through by a powerful force. A person soared into the sky. What? Seeing this, Mo Jingchuan's expression changed greatly. This is impossible, he exclaimed. How can you be unscathed? Standing in the air, Zi Chen indifferently said, after today, the Jing mansion will become a ruin. As soon as he finished speaking, Zi Chen tapped his forehead. Rays of black light flew out from his knowledge sea like black arrows, carrying with them the power of death as they flew in all directions. No one could block this move of Zi Chen's, unless they were Saint Venerables. On a nearby mountain peak, the lazy Liu Chan stood up and said in amazement, "Good fellow, it really is the power of the demon race. A demon race willing to help the spirit race? What a weirdo." Liu Chan flew forward. "Sir, where are you going?" asked the person behind him. "The battle has already begun. Shouldn't we go and express our stance? Are we really going to pick up the ready-made ones? Aren't we worried that they'll kill us as well?" Liu Chan flew forward and shouted, "Prepare to attack the Jing mansion. Don't let anyone escape. Remember, don't let anyone escape." "Yes, sir." Asterisk 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 asterisk. Mo Jingchuan was completely dumbfounded. He had never imagined that his opponent would be so powerful. Even the array formation couldn't do anything to him. Now that he had escaped, it seemed that only destruction and death awaited the Jing mansion. "Sir, this is a misunderstanding. I'll take everything according to the price." "Everything?" Mo Jingchuan shouted in horror. At this moment, Zi Chen was standing in the air, but he was like a god of death, killing one person after another from the Jing mansion. Old Blind stood below. After seeing this scene, his expression was one of shock. It wouldn't be a problem for one person to wipe out the entire Jing mansion. At this moment, a loud shout rang out. "Which hero is here?" Zi Chen turned around when he heard the voice. He saw an existence wearing the Devil Snake Guard commander's battle robe flying over alone. "Commander Liu, save me," Mo Jingchuan shouted. "This person is from the spirit race." Zi Chen looked at Liu Chan and narrowed his eyes. "So there's your shadow." Liu Chan suddenly stopped and said, "Why does this hero say so?" He had opened his mouth twice, and both times he had said the word hero. Zi Chen somewhat understood what he meant. "And who are you?" he asked. "I am Liu Chan, commander of the Demon Snake Guard. I've heard a secret report that the Jing mansion is colluding with the spirit race to harm us demons." "And who are you, sir?" asked Liu Chan. Zi Chen cupped his hands and spoke in a resounding voice. "I am Mo Chen, and I am enforcing justice on behalf of the demons. It's all thanks to you that not a single person escaped from the Jing mansion. Otherwise, I would have been negligent in my duty." Liu Chan also cupped his hands. "Don't worry, sir. My Demon Snake Guard is already on the way. I guarantee that no one from the Jing mansion will escape." "Liu Chan, what nonsense are you talking about? Didn't you agree to help me catch the remaining Evilders?" Mo Jingchuan was dumbfounded. On the other side, Old Blind was also stunned on the spot. However, his expression was not good at that moment. Impudent. Do I look like a corrupt person? Do you think that just because you hand over your wealth, I'll think you're innocent? That I won't investigate you? Let me tell you, the demon snake guard needs evidence when we do things. Liu Chan angrily rebuked. Sir, please understand. This matter really has nothing to do with me. I'm willing to give you my resources. Please investigate this matter thoroughly. Although Mo Jingchuan still didn't understand what was going on, it seemed to be a way out, so he immediately took over. Liu Chan was even more furious. How dare you bribe me, you bastard? I'm so angry. Brother Mo Chen, I'll have to trouble you to go to that dangerous place with hidden resources and see if there are any survivors of the Spirit Clan. Then, Liu Chan angrily said, hurry up and take Sir there. Mo Jingchuan hurriedly nodded. His mind was still muddled, but at this moment, saving his life was the most important thing. Zi Chen didn't understand what Liu Chan was planning, but the current situation seemed to be in his best interest. Because once Mo Jingchuan died, he might not be able to find all of his wealth. Zi Chen didn't care about wealth, but the Spirit Clan here did. The growth of the Spirit Clan needed this wealth. Zi Chen glanced at Old Blind, who shook his head, indicating that he could stay here. Zi Chen didn't say anything else. Under Mo Jingchuan's lead, he walked toward the secret room. How dare you hide it? Don't blame me for killing everyone in the Jing mansion. Liu Chan's voice rang out again. Mo Jingchuan's body trembled, and he repeatedly said that he wouldn't dare. But when he entered the secret room, a cold light flashed in his eyes. Liu Chan, right? I'll remember you. After I, Mo Jingchuan, solve this problem, I won't let you go. Chapter 4204. Liu Zhen's men had arrived, and it was indeed a huge army. Old Blind stood there, watching the army surround the place in an orderly manner, then kill their way in. No one knew if they were intentionally ignoring Old Blind, but no one made a move against him. Everyone was slaughtering each other. The Jing mansion was in chaos. Old Blind watched this scene silently. He watched as women and children were killed one after another. He watched as the terrified children were killed. He couldn't bear it, but he didn't do anything. Liu Zhen's figure finally landed. Earlier, when Zi Chen glanced at him, he stopped and didn't dare to move forward. Only now did he enter the Jing mansion. He landed next to Old Blind and said calmly, "These people didn't keep their word. Don't you think they deserve to die?" Old Blind didn't respond. "Your heart has already told me that they do deserve to die, but there are too many innocent people among them, such as those women and children. So you can't be cruel enough to kill them." Liu Zhen laughed. "Don't worry, just leave it to me. You can't bear to kill them, but I can kill them with a clear conscience. Because once someone is alive, my future work will be very troublesome, and of course, you will also be in trouble." "Why are you here?" Old Blind suddenly asked. "I'm here to watch a game, to see who will win. Don't worry, this game is very fair, and I won't interfere unless the result is already decided." Liu Zhen glanced back at the hall behind him. "If you die, I will take over this place. At the same time, I will mourn for you in my heart, and then kill everyone to avenge you. But you are still alive, and the winner, so I can only bet on you to kill them." Liu Zhen suddenly tilted his head and said, "That Mo Chen, what is his background? He is a dignified demon, why would he help you?" Old Blind said, "Do you believe that he would help when he sees injustice?" Liu Zhen laughed disdainfully. "You want me to believe that? You might as well tell me that this Mo Chen is a spirit from the spirit world." Liu Zhen's men were all well trained, and they cooperated with each other to kill the enemy with great efficiency. At this time, Mo Jingchuan led Zi Chen into a secret room, where the Jing mansion stored its resources. After opening the secret chamber, boundless light bloomed, and there were innumerable treasures of various colors. These were the resources that the Jing residents had accumulated over the years. "My lord, these are all the resources our Jing manor has accumulated. Please accept them," said Mo Jingchuan respectfully. Looking at these resources, Zi Chen said, "Why did you do this?" He waved his sleeve and took away all the resources. He didn't hold back and said, You go out first. I'll look around here, because I don't really believe that this is all the resources you have. Mo Jingchuan's eyes flashed slightly. He didn't resist and left right away. Zichen released his soul power and began to investigate the surroundings. Sure enough, he found another secret compartment. He forced it open and found a black crystal. Zichen didn't know what this crystal stone was for, but he thought that it should be something extremely precious. After that, he used his soul force to continue probing and discovered a dozen more secret compartments. Every single one of them was filled with treasures. When the last secret compartment was opened, Zichen saw a jade box. There was a seal on the jade box, so he carefully broke the seal and opened it. Inside the jade box was an ancient book of the demon race, which had turned yellow. It was carefully stored. There were no words on the surface of the book, only a picture. It was a pair of eyes, empty and lifeless. However, when Zichen looked at it carefully, he seemed to see a huge whirlpool that wanted to swallow his mind. He shook his head and came back to his senses. Then, he used his soul power to protect it and carefully turned a page. Demon Eye. This was the name of the ancient book. It was a technique. Looking at the material of the ancient book, it should have been left behind a long time ago. Of course, now wasn't the time to study this. Zichen closed the jade box again and checked it again. After making sure that there was nothing else, he left the secret chamber. Mo Jingchuan's fate had been decided long ago. Zichen didn't want to guess whether he lived or died. Right now, he was thinking about how to deal with the demon snake guard commander named Liu Zhen. Seeing old Blindie's strange behavior, he should know him. However, Zichen didn't know why old Blindie, who had always been mysterious, knew a demon snake guard commander. After leaving the secret chamber, Zichen saw Mo Jingchuan's corpse as expected. Other than that, there was no other living person in the Jing mansion. The demon snake guards who were responsible for killing witnesses had all left. Only Liu Zhen and old Blindie were left. Zichen looked at Liu Zhen and said, "You're bold. You dare to stay here alone." Liu Zhen said helplessly, "I had no choice. After all, I'm a demon snake guard. This time, I led the team, so I have to go back and report." Zichen asked, "What do you want?" Liu Zhen said, "Evidence." Zichen furrowed his brows. Liu Zhen said, "A part of the evidence is enough. I only need to prove that he colluded with the spirit race." Zichen took out the spoils of war that Mo Jingchuan had taken. Then, he gave half of them to Liu Zhen. "Is this enough?" "Yes, it's enough." A smile appeared on Liu Zhen's face. With this evidence, as long as he did a few more things, the Jing mansion's crimes would be confirmed. To him, this was a great achievement. The transaction was over, but Liu Zhen had no intention of leaving. Zichen asked, "Is there anything else?" Liu Zhen said, "The transaction here has failed. Even if you have other places to make transactions, because of the large amount, your allies will become greedy. Why don't you cooperate with me? We can make a deal." Zichen looked at Liu Zhen. "You have the guts." Liu Zhen pointed at the demon snake embroidered on his clothes. "Who am I? I'm a demon snake guard, and I specialize in dealing with the spirit race. This has been our mission for generations. If the spirit race is wiped out, then what's the point of having a demon snake guard?" He pointed at the dead Mo Jingchuan. That was just a minion, a brainless guy. To put it bluntly, he was just working for someone else. Perhaps the demon snake guard was behind him. In any case, these resources of the demon race are useless in your hands. You'll have to make a deal anyway. Rather than making a deal with someone else, you might as well make a deal with me. Liu Zhen said, "The resources from the Jing mansion are a sign of my sincerity. You think that a little bit of sincerity is enough to make us believe you?" Zichen looked at Liu Zhen. Chapter 4205. Zichen glanced at old Blindie. He was just a passerby who would eventually return to the Saint Spirit realm. There was no way he could make decisions for the astrals here. "Forget it. We don't have anything to do with you." Old Blindie shook his head, refusing in the end. Liu Zhen, whose attitude had always been good, laughed coldly. "Indeed, we don't have anything to do with each other. You have plenty of things to do with the other demons." You would rather be hunted down, swindled, and cheated than do business with me. Old Blindie said calmly, business is business with everyone. Is that so? Liu Zhen said. If those astrals who have been doing business with you for so many years and died for you heard these words, would they be happy? Old Blindie's face was expressionless. Zichen said, how about this? You leave behind a token, and I will pay you a visit in the future. Perhaps the two of us can work together. Of course, Liu Zhen said. But I hope that our cooperation will not be limited to this half-useless equipment. Zichen asked, what kind of business do you want to do? Pure demonic energy. Don't worry, as long as the demonic energy you give me is pure enough, I will definitely give you a good price. Old Blindie's body trembled. I will need to think about this carefully. Zichen said, but before we leave, can I ask you a question? Go ahead. I heard that your armies have been making a lot of movements recently. Did you make a big discovery? Liu Zhen's eyes were filled with vigilance. This is a big secret of the demon race. I cannot reveal it. Of course, if we are allies, I can reveal a thing or two. Then we'll meet again. Zichen left, taking everything with him. This time, the transaction had not been completed, but Zichen had profited greatly. Or perhaps it was more accurate to say that the entire astral had profited greatly. Most of the resources in the Jing residence had been taken away by him. The value of these resources had probably exceeded the value of this transaction. Most importantly, there was still a portion of the equipment that had been traded, which could be used in the future. The two of them did not return immediately. Instead, they went to a city thousands of miles away and found an inn to rest first. If he could bring back more resources, that would be even better. Therefore, Zichen wanted to ask about the enmity between the old blind man and Liu Zhen. Blind old man didn't hide anything from Zichen. He directly explained the relationship between the two of them. Liu Zhen is my disciple, the disciple I was most proud of. Zichen was very surprised, because old Blindie was from the spirit race, while Liu Zhen was a demonic snake guard. The two of them were like cats and mice, natural enemies. The story started many years ago. Liu Chan couldn't bear to see the spirit race being bullied, and he couldn't take revenge openly. He wanted to become a demon. That goes against my beliefs. Once I become a demon, I will definitely be influenced by my environment. Perhaps I will even bully the spirit race even more. Blind old man sighed. We had an argument, and he took the opportunity of a mission to leave the spirit race. By the time I received the latest news, he had already become a member of the demonic snake guard. After that, we rarely contacted each other. In the end, we stopped contacting each other. Who would have thought that after so many years, he would have already become a commander? Actually, there were some things that blind old man didn't say. For example, he had been fortunate enough to resolve many of the spirit race's crises. He hadn't been able to figure it out before, but now that he thought about it, perhaps it had something to do with Liu Zhen. The reason why he hadn't traded with Liu Zhen today was because he didn't trust the demonic snake guard. After all, he had been fighting with the demonic snake guard all these years. Of course, if he hadn't heard what Liu Zhen had said today, he wouldn't have known that the power behind the Jing residence was actually the demonic snake guard. After hearing blind old man's words, Zichen said, whether it's the spirit race or the demon race, the most important thing isn't a matter of status, but rather a heart that will never change. If I can protect and help the spirit race better after becoming a demon, I feel like that might not be a bad thing. But the demon race only oppresses the spirit race, especially the demonic snake guard. They rely on oppressing the spirit race to survive. Blind old man's tone became much more serious. Zichen said, this is a very common phenomenon, but not all of it. Once you become a demon, you will have even greater authority. As long as you haven't lost your heart, this authority will be the best protection for the spirit race. Just like today, if we had destroyed the Jing residence, then we would still be considered the remnants of the spirit race. But if Liu Zhen did it, then he would have done a great service. The same thing, if done with a different identity, will bring about a completely different result. Blind old man said, so you're saying that I've always been wrong? Zichen said, there's no right or wrong in this matter. It's just that the paths you take are different. But the final destination is the same. Everyone understood this principle, and blind old man probably knew it as well. It was just that he couldn't get over this hurdle and let go of the knot in his heart. Zichen took out the ancient book he had obtained before and said, "I found something earlier. Come and take a look." Zichen took out a jade box. Blind old man was curious, and he carefully opened the jade box. When he saw what was in the jade box, he was slightly stunned. "What is it?" Zichen asked. "This is a demonic eye, or rather, a demonic eye," blind old man said before opening it. "How do you know?" Zichen asked curiously. "I found it in a small world, but it's obviously a demon technique. We couldn't comprehend it, so we sold it to Mo Jingchuan. I didn't expect him to keep it so carefully, and even put it in such a precious jade box." Zichen was a bit disappointed. He had thought that it would be an incredible technique. Just as he was about to put the demonic eye away, blind old man suddenly said, "The demonic eye is useless to us, but it might be useful to you. I've studied it before, and I found that to activate the demonic eye requires an enormous amount of soul force. And right now, your strength is exactly the same as a demon's, so you might be able to succeed. If you walk the demon realm and master 1 or 2 demon techniques, then you'll be more like a demon." That made a lot of sense, so Zichen decided to study it first. After putting away the item, Zichen asked, "Do you have a suitable trade target in mind right now?" Blind old man answered honestly, "I used to, but it's hard to say now. Because there were too many bargaining chips, the balance of benefits might be tipped over." The Jing residence was a good example. Zichen said, "Since you don't have a suitable candidate, then let's look for Liu Zhen." Just as he said, "He's the one who doesn't want the spirit race to disappear completely." Zichen believed this and agreed with it. As the spirit race disappeared from this world, perhaps the demon snake guard would disappear as well. Chapter 4206. Zichen stayed in the city for a while. During this time, Liu Zhen did not chase after him. However, a piece of news spread on the 3rd day. The demon snake guards had found out that the people who were secretly trading with the spirit race were from the Jing mansion. For a while, there was a lot of discussion. In the taverns, the indignant voices of the demon race could be heard. If it weren't for our own people colluding with the spirit race, where would the spirit race get the resources to grow? The main culprit of the 5 commanders' deaths is the Jing mansion. Fortunately, the Jing mansion has been destroyed by the demon snake guards. Otherwise, I would have gone there personally and flattened the Jing mansion. How hateful. I didn't expect that the people who killed those commanders were our own people. Unlike the demon race, who were filled with righteous indignation, many of the spirit race sighed when they heard this news. Now that the people they were trading with had been found out, it would be very difficult for the spirit race to trade with them in the future. Could they still hold on and survive? To be honest, it was because of the existence of the spirit race and because of their constant resistance that they could live a relatively peaceful life. Because there was a saying in the demon realm, where there is oppression, there will be resistance. They did not care about the difference in levels and specifically targeted the demon race. The Astral's lives had improved a lot in the Demon Ward City and the Demon Ward City, not to mention the distant past. Zichen had nothing to do in the city, so he began to comprehend the demonic eye. In the end, he discovered that this was no ordinary spell. Even at his level, it was extremely difficult to master, but fortunately, there was still a chance of success. As for old Blindy, he was busy with his own matters. In his words, wherever there was a city, there would be people there. These people were responsible for collecting information, such as which family was bullying the spirit race, or which innocent spirit race people had died tragically. All of these would be recorded. Old Blindy would make some arrangements according to the contents of the records, such as a surprise attack on a demon clan as a warning to others. The incident of the spirit race last time was still spreading, and naturally, Zichen's name was cursed. Because it was said that the 5th commander was not killed by the spirit race, but by the demon race. You, a demon race member, did not kill the spirit race, but killed your own people. Do you have any shame? For a time, there were some voices of a crusade in some cities. But that was all. Asterisk 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 asterisk. In a dimly lit hall, Liu Chan clasped his fists and bowed, standing there motionlessly. In front of him were the spoils of war he had collected. There were resources from the Jing residents and some so-called evidence. After a long time, a deep voice rang out. "You did well this time. Many thanks, my lord." Liu Zhen expressed his thanks. "How many years have you been following me?" The voice rang out again. "More than 1,000 years, Liu Zhen said. For the past 1,000 years, I've trusted you the most, even if you used to be in spirit." His lordship was a man of few words, and he would not recall the past. His words today caused Liu Zhen's expression to change slightly, and he became even more respectful. "That's why you have to do the following things even more beautifully. I don't care what methods you use, I just want the final result. Rest assured, my lord." Asterisk 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 asterisk. Zi Chen had been staying in this demon city to cultivate, while Old Blind was busy with his own matters. On this day, someone knocked on the door and entered. It was Liu Zhen. Zi Chen was somewhat surprised. "I'm here to trade with you." "Of course, you can also say that I'm here to deliver resources," Liu Zhen said, after closing the door. Zi Chen looked at Liu Zhen, but didn't say anything. "Your equipment from last time is completely useless to you. I can help you deal with it, and then exchange it for resources that the spirit needs." Liu Zhen glanced at Zi Chen. "Of course, if you need it, I can also prepare some resources for your cultivation. But I don't think you need them." Zi Chen said, "Do you think I have the final say in this matter?" "Of course," Liu Zhen said. "That old bastard respects you quite a bit, although I don't know why. After all, he hates demons the most." Zi Chen laughed. "Is that how you address your master?" "It seems you already know," Liu Zhen said. "That's the truth. He has contributed greatly to the spirit race, but unfortunately, he doesn't know how to be flexible. Over the years, he has trained many spirit race members, but he has also killed many of them. Many of them were geniuses who were killed by his stubbornness." Zi Chen said, "So you're still holding on to your principles?" "Of course," Liu Zhen said. "I'm settling things once and for all." Zi Chen nodded. "Actually, I agree with what you're saying." "Really?" Liu Zhen's eyes lit up. Zi Chen said, "Really? But do you know why?" "Why?" Liu Zhen asked. "Because I can maintain my original intentions, and at the same time, I can control everyone." Zi Chen pointed at Liu Zhen. "For example, if one day I lose control of you, I can kill you at will, without any burden." Liu Zhen suddenly couldn't laugh anymore. Zi Chen continued, "Power is everything. The reason why the spirit race is oppressed in this world is because of power. If you were an invincible saint sovereign of the spirit race, who in this world would dare to oppress the spirit race?" Liu Zhen sank into silence. Zi Chen continued, "Actually, no matter what method you use, the most important thing is to maintain your original intentions. Not only do you have to do this, but you also have to ensure that the people around you can do it. If one day you discover that someone can't do it, you have to have the absolute power to suppress them. Otherwise, there will be no end of trouble. As long as you can guarantee this, I feel that in this world, only someone like you can make the spirit race better." Zi Chen took out some resources. There was pure demonic energy, the spoils he had obtained last time, and many things he had taken from the Jing manor that were useless to the spirit race. Liu Zhen's gaze fell upon the pure demonic energy. Even at his current level, he could still feel the desire from the energy. It was clear how pure it was. "You refined all of this?" Liu Zhen asked in shock. "That's right." Zi Chen nodded. "Who exactly are you?" Liu Zhen's eyes were filled with curiosity. Even many members of the royal family can't refine such pure demonic energy. "You don't need to know who I am. You just need to tell me if I can take these resources and give them to the spirit race." "Of course you can." Chapter 4207. Zi Chen looked at Liu Zhen. "What is it?" "There are some people that I'd like to trouble you to use your identity as a spirit to deal with. This involves some conflicts of interest, so we can't do anything directly." Liu Zhen said, "Using the identity of the spirit race is the best. But I'm worried that they don't have the strength, so I hope you can help. Zichen said, before that, can you tell me what you've been up to recently? This was the main reason why Zichen had come to the Devil Realm. He had come with a mission. You really want to know? Liu Zhen looked at Zichen. You think I'm joking with you? Zichen asked. Liu Zhen said seriously, that's the biggest secret of the Devil Realm in recent years, and it's also the biggest matter. If an outsider dares to inquire about it, their life will be in danger. Just get to the point. No matter how much you try to scare me or beat around the bush, I won't give you any extra benefits. Zichen's words cut off all of Liu Zhen's thoughts. Liu Zhen said helplessly, fine. It's actually a place of opportunity. That's it. Zichen clearly didn't believe him. Liu Chan's expression turned solemn. To be more precise, they found a passageway left behind by the experts of the spirit race who had slaughtered their way into this place many years ago. Originally, they had hoped to use this passageway to leave after crippling the devil race. However, for some unknown reason, the passageway was unable to open, and the experts of the spirit race were unable to leave. Over the years, the devil realm believed that they had become stronger, so they tried many methods to kill their way into the spirit realm, but they all failed. This time, however, they were the closest to success they had ever come. Because according to the news, the transportation formation is still intact. But too many experts died there, including both spirit and devil realm experts. Over the years, some strange changes have occurred there, and there is great danger. The devil realm is currently carefully investigating, but they haven't sent an army there yet. So it was his destination. Zichen's heart jumped, but he didn't show it on his face. You seem to know a lot. Did you deliberately investigate? We are the Devil Serpent Guard, and we specialize in dealing with the spirit race. Now that we've discovered a passage to the spirit race, we should be the ones to handle it. Liu Zhen paused for a moment before continuing, it's just that during this process, there were some different opinions, so we received a certain amount of pressure. Zichen said, so, you want my help to eliminate these voices so that you can smoothly obtain this opportunity? Liu Zhen glanced at Zichen and said, that's right. It's because we also have quite a bit of internal competition. If we want to obtain this opportunity smoothly, we naturally need to make some arrangements. Zichen said, there's danger inside, but you guys are so active. It seems that it's not just dangerous. Liu Zhen said, because as long as the passage is opened, it will be a great achievement. There will naturally be many benefits. Zichen stared at Liu Zhen and sneered, no matter how great the benefits are, can it compare to the benefits of catching traitors? Liu Zhen was a bit embarrassed by Zichen's stare. He scratched his head and said, to tell you the truth, according to the information I received, besides the most important passage, there are other opportunities. Not only the demon race, but also the spirit race. After all, the experts of the two races fought a great battle there. This time, Liu Zhen didn't try to hide anything. He told him everything he knew. Zichen thought for a moment, then said, if you want me to help you, I can. But after this is done, I need a spot to enter. If it's just a spot, then that's not a problem. Liu Zhen nodded. He didn't think for a long time before agreeing. Because if he wanted to succeed, in addition to the strength of the spirit race, he also needed to borrow this person's strength. When the two sides reached an agreement, Old Blindy returned. Under normal circumstances, no one would discover what Old Blindy couldn't. Seeing Liu Zhen here, he didn't say anything. Because he had talked to Zichen before, he had already accepted the cooperation between him and Liu Zhen. The resources Liu Zhen gave were very impressive. Not only did he not lower the price, but he also gave more resources. According to Liu Zhen, the extra resources were because of the pure power of the demon race. After that, Liu Zhen left a message and a list of names for Zichen to deal with as soon as possible. Coincidentally, one of them was in this city. This person was a vice commander of the Demon Snake Guard. He was very famous in the Demon Snake Guard, but he was very notorious in the spirit race. Part of the reason Old Blindy came here this time was because of this person. After Old Blindy saw the list, he said, this matter needs to be discussed. I hope that by killing this person, We can intimidate the small fry in this city and let the other spirit race people live better lives. Asterisk 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 scram. All of you, scram, you bastards, don't you have eyes? You dare to startle my master's precious steed? Do you believe that you won't be able to keep your head? All of you who are worse than bastards, scram further away from me. Even though they were separated by a street, they could hear such a huge commotion. That was the people of the Demon Edge Mansion coming out. Everywhere they passed, there was chaos. The one in the lead was a demon with an impure bloodline. He had just become a one-star Holy Spirit. He was riding on a strange beast and galloping over. Behind him was a small group of fully armed demons. In the middle of the group was an ownerless strange beast from the devil realm. Behind the strange beast was a carriage, and inside the carriage sat a demon race girl. The leader of the demon race was cursing as he moved forward. Once someone was not fast enough to dodge, they would be swept away by the opponent's energy or kicked away by the strange beast. Many of them were injured, and some died. Seeing this scene, the girl did not stop them. Instead, she laughed happily. In this Demon Edge city, the Demon Edge Mansion's style was even better than the City Lord Mansion. No one dared to complain. Because the Demon Edge Mansion was a big surname in the demon realm, and the owner of the Demon Edge Mansion, Mo Lankue, was a deputy commander. Therefore, everyone in the Demon Edge Mansion was particularly arrogant in this city. They swaggered out of the city. Everywhere they passed, there was chaos, but no one dared to resist. Zi Chen stood on top of the city wall and silently watched the departing group. He had already investigated for several days, and was already clear about the nature of the Demon Edge Mansion. These people deserved to die. At this moment, the demon race that left the city was charging at the passers-by who were about to enter the city. Almost all of them were spirit race people who came here to do some small business to make a living. At this moment, those things were scattered everywhere. The Demon Edge Mansion's owner was laughing heartily, completely oblivious to the helpless and sorrowful eyes of those people. Zi Chen gently waved his hand, and a talisman paper disappeared into the void. Saint Talisman. Thunder rumbled in the sky as several dazzling rays of light descended from the sky. Accompanied by the sound of thunder, the group of existences who had been flaunting their prowess earlier fell down one after another. The people were dead, but the strange beasts were still alive. However, they were no longer as imposing as before, hiding and shivering. Such a scene shocked the passers-by who were running away in panic. When they realized that these people were all dead, they all sighed with emotion. Some even knelt on the ground, exclaiming that the heavens had eyes. No one knew where these thunderbolts came from. Zi Chen jumped down the city wall, and headed straight for the Demon Edge Mansion. He entered the mansion with killing intent. "Who's there?" A loud shout sounded. It was the guards of the Demon Edge Mansion who had discovered Zi Chen who had barged in. Zi Chen ignored them. Spirit race people appeared one after another beside him. These spirit race people were all saint spirits, and they directly charged forward. Zi Chen did not even need to do anything. Everywhere he passed, the demon race people fell one after another. This was a complete suppression of the realm. Zi Chen had brought almost all the experts from the previous city. Zi Chen himself walked towards the residence of the vice commander, because Liu Zhan had given him accurate information that the vice commander Mo Lankue had returned and was in this mansion. The continuous screams alarmed the vice commander. He walked out of the room and flew up. Standing in the air, he saw everything that had happened in the mansion. He immediately roared, "How dare you spirit race people break into the Demon Edge Mansion? Quickly activate the killing array. I will not let you bastards return." This roar almost spread throughout the entire city. A ray of light shone above the mansion, as if to form a formation. The demon race's city was a killing array in itself. When the city lord was in the city, his battle strength would be greatly increased, just like when old Blindy was in the spirit race's city. Moreover, there was a clear rule in the demon race that other offensive formations were not allowed in the city, because it would affect the operation of the formation of the entire city. The Demon Edge family was, of course, an accident. Because the city lord did not have the guts to interfere, he could only turn a blind eye. As soon as the formation was activated, a thunderbolt fell from the sky. It was similar to the previous thunderbolt, but much stronger. When the lightning fell, the Mo Lung family's grand formation collapsed. Seeing this, Mo Lung Kuei's expression changed greatly. Obviously, a strong enemy had come. He knew that things were not good. Where is the city lord? The spirit race has killed their way into the city. Why didn't you activate the formation? Mo Lung Kuei's cold voice spread throughout the city again. Although he had always disliked the city lord, he knew that if he wanted to solve this problem, he had to use the formation of the city. At this moment, another thunderbolt fell, striking down Mo Lung Kuei, who was in the air. Mo Lung Kuei fell to the ground without any signs of life. At this moment, many people had gathered outside the Demon Edge mansion. Hearing the screams from inside, no one dared to come and help. Because even the vice commander Mo Lung Kuei was dead, let alone them. The screams didn't last long. Buzz. The formation of the city was finally activated, covering the entire city in an instant. At this moment, the city was sealed, and no one could enter or leave. Even the teleportation formation in the city could not be used. Kill the bastards. The city lord's voice rang out, and he led his team to kill. It turned out that he was gathering his team. Chapter 4208. Kill, don't let a single thief escape. The city lord's angry voice spread through the entire city. The army began to move. At the same time, the killing array in the sky was activated. Killing intent filled every corner of the city. Many spirit race people began to be on edge. They were very worried about their fellow spirit race people who had killed their way into the Mo Lung mansion. The Mo Lung mansion suddenly became quiet. It was dead silent. The army of the city came and surrounded the mansion. The city lord looked at the closed door in front of him. His eyes flashed with a cold smile. After a slight pause, he waved his hand and said, "Kill." Everyone charged in from all directions. There was a formation in the sky that was protecting them. But then there was an uproar. Because other than some corpses, there was no one else in the mansion. Many corpses were gone. Even the spirit race people were gone. The wealth in Mo Lung Kuei's mansion was also plundered. Damn Mo Lung Kuei. He actually set up a teleportation array. The thief has already used it to escape. After a moment, the city lord's angry voice came from the mansion. There was a rule in the demon race that no one was allowed to set up a teleportation array in the city. Even more so, they could not ignore the city's killing array. Obviously, Mo Lung Kuei had violated this rule. The city lord returned angrily. He only said to deal with the aftermath. After he returned and closed the door, he finally laughed out loud. After years of suppression, he was liberated. If not for the fact that the Mo Lung family was still very big, the city lord at this moment would have silently ordered to hunt down the remaining members of the Mo Lung family and seize their property. Zi Chen smoothly arrived outside the city. The teleportation array in Mo Lung Kuei's mansion was no longer a secret to him. Liu Zhen gave him accurate information. Old Blind also carefully checked it, including the city lord's attitude. From the beginning, this teleportation array was in the plan. Everyone else returned to Zi Chen's palace. At this moment, they gathered together and were very excited. In the past, they only fought small fights and killed some ordinary demon race people. But today, they attacked a deputy commander's mansion and won a great victory. Not a single spirit race person died. Only 2 unlucky ones were injured. One of them was Mo Feng. After the crazy battle, he became very weak. He did not retreat in time and was attacked by a sword. At this moment, Mo Feng was sitting cross-legged on the side. He chuckled and said, "Delightful, truly delightful. Those demons are usually so arrogant and don't treat the spirit race as human beings. But in front of grandfather today, aren't they still scared witless? It's not because of you." Yuan Hai said lightly, "If we really want to talk about happiness, it's all thanks to Master Mo Chen. If not for Master killing Mo Lung Kuei, I'm afraid none of us would be alive." Yuan Hai sized up Crazy Mo a few times. Moreover, if you want to continue to enjoy yourself, then quickly recover. Because in a few days, there will be a similar battle. It's said that this time, it's a 9-star commander. Mo Feng's eyes lit up. The expressions of the other people beside him also became excited. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Among the demonic snake guards, the commanders were recognized as the highest leaders. Moreover, every commander was a 9-star saint spirit. Not only did they have to reach the required level, but they also had to reach the required level of contribution. However, above 9 stars were holy venerates. Those commanders were under the Lord's control. At this moment, 5 holy venerates were sitting together. Except for one holy venerate whose expression could be considered indifferent, the other holy venerates' expressions were not so good. You 4 called me over. Do you have something important to discuss? That holy venerate with an indifferent expression asked. Mo Wuda, you know very well what you've done. Do you still need us to say it? One of them said indifferently. What do you mean? Mo Wuda asked doubtfully. How many of our people have you killed in this period of time? Don't you know? Another person rebuked. Mo Wuda said unhappily, Brother Ji, you can't speak carelessly. In any case, I'm still a holy venerate. You're slandering a holy venerate for willfully killing innocent people. What kind of crime is that? Looking at their unsightly expressions, Mo Wuda said, as for what you're all confused about, I more or less know a thing or two. But I don't know the specifics. How about this? I have a subordinate coming to report this matter. You can all listen. A moment later, Liu Zhen walked in. He first saluted the holy venerates, then said, reporting to Lord, the matter has been investigated clearly. The battle at Mo City that day was initiated by Mo Ji Feiwen and Mo Yang Haoguang, 2 vice-commanders. They wanted to use a remnant as bait to completely eradicate the spirit race. During that time, there were several vice-commanders and 4 commanders in the dark. However, the spirit race seemed to have been prepared. It could be considered a trap within a trap, causing the demon snake guards to be completely wiped out. The spirit race was bold. They killed their way into Vice Commander Mo Linkue's residence. According to the information we received, Vice Commander Mo Linkue did not immediately ask for the City Lord's help. Instead, he used the formation in the residence. This indirectly caused the City Lord to be unable to open the formation immediately. When the formation in the residence was destroyed, the City Lord activated the killing formation again to seal the spirit race. However, the spirit race used the teleportation formation in Mo Linkue's residence to escape. Commander Mo Ji Feishan died in the residence. According to the clues we received, he was retaliated against by a certain spirit race. According to the witnesses, the commander intentionally killed the other party's entire clan and stole all their resources. Then, he used the head of the spirit race's clansmen as a reward. You are talking nonsense. How could our Mo Ji clan do such a thing? Before Liu Zhen could finish, a holy venerate angrily rebuked. Liu Zhen calmly said, Lord, please calm down. We are still investigating this matter thoroughly. Moreover, we have already found some witnesses from that year. If Commander Feishan was wrongly accused, we will definitely give him justice. The holy venerate's expression changed, then he stared at Mo Wuda. Mo Wuda, Mo Wuda. You really live up to your name. You really are Wuda. The holy venerate named Mo Yang mocked, how did our demon snake guard develop? Don't you know? What, now you are looking for shit from other people's butts? Why don't you look at your own butts first? Mo Wuda smiled faintly and said, Liu Zhen. Yes. Liu Zhen cupped his fist. Mo Wuda said, from now on, I will give you the greatest authority. Thoroughly investigate the matter of false contributions. If there is anyone with false contributions or deceit, kill them without mercy. Remember, kill without mercy. Liu Zhen accepts the order. The other holy venerates' expressions all changed. Mo Wuda cupped his fist and said, after my people have thoroughly investigated, I will report it to the higher-ups. Please issue an order to thoroughly investigate the demon snake guard. Mo Wuda's expression suddenly became cold. He said, the demon snake guard exists to kill the true spirit race. They are the remnants of the spirit race that are harmful to us, not those who have contributed to the development of the devil realm. Killing innocent people and using them as your own contribution is deceiving the entire devil realm. You are courting death. The holy venerates looked at each other, and their expressions began to change. They knew their people very well. Most of the time, they were just muddling along. As for the complaints of the spirit race, who would care? But now, if they really let Mo Wuda investigate, he would suffer great losses. How could he let them go? It was fine if he didn't investigate, but once he did, there would be problems. Maybe the demon snake guard would carry out a big purge, and how many subordinates could they protect? Suddenly, the surroundings became quiet. Liu Zhen continued, the death of Commander Mo Yang Haoyang is said to be related to this matter. The commander of the Mo Liu family wanted to take the resources when he was trading with the spirit race. In the end, the two sides lost the battle and were killed. The commander of the Mo Liu family was killed by the spirit race because of his conduct. Everything that Liu Zhen said was reasonable and well-founded, and some of them had been investigated clearly. The holy venerates' expressions were ugly, but they didn't say anything. Until Liu Zhen said more than 20 things, which meant that dozens of commanders and deputy commanders had been killed by the spirit race. Mo Wuda said bitterly, "Did you hear it? Did you all hear it?" Although these things have their own reasons, they were all done by the spirit race. Over the years, the demon snake guard has been performing meritorious deeds. They killed group after group of remnants, and even the remnants of clans. But the result? When they attacked, dozens of commanders were killed. Now, I seriously doubt the ability of our demon snake guard's commanders. The spirit race's strength today is all because of their inaction. It's all because they took innocent spirit race members to make up the numbers, which led to the real remnants to grow in secret. Which are the real meritorious deeds and which are the fake ones? This matter must be thoroughly investigated. Otherwise, the demon snake guard will really be in chaos. The four holy venerates were still silent. Mo Wuda waved his hand and said, "You can go first." "Yes." Liu Zhen clasped his fist and said, "I will thoroughly investigate this matter and wipe out all the vermin in the demon snake guard." The four holy venerates' expressions changed again. Mo Wuda waved his hand and said, "Wait for my order." Asterisk 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 Liu Zhen walked out of the reception room. He was still in a good mood. This cooperation with Mo Chen had really benefited him a lot. Not to mention other things, after cutting off some of the holy venerates' wings, their side strength had obviously increased a lot. Without capable subordinates, those holy venerates could only be holy venerates. There were many things that they couldn't do personally. And today's show was very beautiful. Next, they just had to wait for the holy venerates' arrangements. As long as they could smoothly take over that land of opportunity, it would be another great merit. Maybe they could even use this opportunity to reach the holy venerate realm. Even if they couldn't reach the holy venerate realm, it would be a great thing to step into the half-step holy venerate realm. If it was in the past, Liu Zhen wouldn't even dare to think about it. Because he wasn't a demon, the purity of his power was limited. But it was different this time. With the power given by Mo Chen, he was confident. Not long after, Holy Venerate Mo Wuda walked out alone. The other Holy Venerates had obviously left. After taking the initiative and taking half a step back, it was naturally time to pursue benefits. "Congratulations, Lord." Liu Zhen clasped his fist. "Where did the joy come from?" Mo Wuda asked. There was a faint smile on his face. It was obvious that he was in a good mood. "Smoothly taking over that land of opportunity is naturally a great joy," Liu Zhen said. "Who said we're going to take over that place?" Mo Wuda asked. "Isn't what you're doing for that area, Lord? It's just that the Holy Venerates got this opportunity. Not to mention the exploration, as long as they can open the final passage, it will be a great merit," Liu Zhen said. You're just too shallow. It does look like you're going to make a great contribution, but have you thought about what would happen if you failed?" Mo Wuda said, "This time, I took the initiative to give them the opportunity. Of course, our people can still go in. When the time comes, you can bring some capable subordinates in. Don't feel burdened." It's purely for the sake of the opportunity. As for the success or failure of the mission, it has nothing to do with you. Of course, if you can help a little along the way and make them busier, it's still okay. It's best if you can do it without being noticed by others and ruin the plan. Mo Wuda pointed at his feet and said, "As for us, the most important thing is still the demon snake guard. This time, the spirit tribe has brought a great deal of attention. It will definitely lead to a purge. At the same time, the higher-ups will definitely give us a lot of resources to grow." Liu Zhen quickly recovered. If they took all the resources, the demon snake guard would naturally be the strongest in the future. If those people were to fail, the demon snake guard would become the sole dominant force in the future. Liu Zhen, who understood the Holy Venerate's meaning, nodded. "I heard that some of your strange friends from the demon clan are not weak. You can secretly take him in to have a look. Maybe there will be some unexpected gains. Of course, the gains will be his, but he has to help your friend, right?" Mo Wuda smiled and left. "Don't worry, Lord. Liu Zhen will do his best." Asterisk 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 in the room, in Zichen's sea of knowledge, soul power was surging, constantly trying to rush to his eyes. He was trying to comprehend the demon eye. He tried again and again, but to no avail. This technique was somewhat difficult. Zichen had been trying to comprehend it for a long time, but he still could not master it. At this moment, there was a knock on the door. Zichen said, "Come in." Liu Zhen pushed the door open and entered. When he saw Zichen, the moment their eyes met, Liu Zhen's face suddenly turned pale, and his eyes lost their light. His body swayed, and he almost fell down. "What's wrong?" Zichen stood up and looked at him. Liu Zhen shook his head and woke up. He found that his whole body was drenched in cold sweat. "What's wrong with your eyes?" "Just now, I felt the aura of death." Liu Zhen's eyes were filled with fear. Zichen took out the demon eye and said, "I'm currently trying to comprehend it. Do you want to try?" Liu Zhen picked it up and looked at it carefully. After a moment, his expression changed. "Is there a problem?" Zichen asked. "This might be the legendary demon god's eye," Liu Zhen said. "Demon snake's eye?" Zichen asked, "Is it something of your demon snake guard?" "The demon god's eye is a technique of the demon god," Liu Zhen said. "Isn't the demon god a legend? It doesn't really exist." This was what Zichen heard from the old blind man. The demon god is a legend, but the techniques of the demon god are real. For example, the demon god's eye is said to be the strongest eye technique in the demon world. In addition, there are demon god beasts, which also exist. It's just that there are no longer pure bloodlines in the world. They are all descendants of demon god beasts. Liu Zhen said, and this demon eye is somewhat similar to the demon god's eye in the records. Chapter 4209. The demon god's eye was extremely famous in the devil world because it was an existence infinitely close to a demon god. It was said that it had been left behind by a demon god. Other than the demon god's eye, there were only the demon god beasts in the devil world. No one had ever seen a true demon god beast, but its descendants still existed, and there were quite a few of them. It's just a bit similar, but I can't say for sure. "Where did you get this technique?" asked Liu Zhen. Zichen explained how he had obtained the demon god's eye. It seems that Mo Jingchuan guessed how precious it was, so he kept it. If this is the real demon god's eye, then it will be extremely difficult to comprehend it. Mo Jingchuan must have tried and failed, or he wouldn't have sealed it away. Liu Zhen sighed. "At the very least, I won't have the chance." "Why not?" asked Zichen. "Only true devils can comprehend the demon god's eye. I still have a long way to go before I can become a true devil." Liu Zhen sighed. "Right, I've already dealt with everything from last time. This time, I've brought back some good stuff." Liu Zhen took out a few techniques, and they were all techniques that the spirit race could use. As a member of the Devil Snake Guard who dealt with the spirit race, Zichen didn't find it strange that Liu Zhen would take them out. He was just curious as to why Liu Zhen would take them out. After all, these things were strictly controlled, and they were prohibited from being traded. "It's a rubbing, not the real thing." Liu Zhen smiled. During this chaos, The Devil Snake Guard obtained quite a few resources as a reward. Naturally, they had to give the spirit race some benefits as well. If the spirit race's strength can't keep up with the Devil Snake Guard's growth, then they'll be destroyed in the end. Zichen shook his head. No, that's definitely not the reason. When Zichen had arrived, he had purposely tidied up his things. Most of his useless things had been left behind in the Martial Heaven continent. That was why he wanted to help the spirit race and give them some techniques, but he didn't have the ability. The techniques Liu Zhen took out were worthless to the devil race, but to the spirit race, they were priceless treasures. Zichen had no reason to refuse, but he didn't believe Liu Zhen's excuse. It seems I can't hide anything from you. Liu Zhen laughed bitterly and said, we've obtained the authority to enter that area. We can also give you one of the spots as originally agreed, but you have to help us do some things. What is it? Zichen asked. Liu Zhen said, it is to destroy the plan to invade the spirit realm as much as possible. Why? Zichen didn't understand. The invasion of the demon race into the spiritual realm was a major event. This involves some matters regarding the Devil Snake Guards, so it's not convenient to reveal them. This is also my only request. Of course, in a few days, I will send over some techniques that are suitable for the spirit race. Once this is done, I promise that the spirit race will receive even more benefits. Zichen had no reason to refuse such a request. After all, this was his mission. The two of them hit it off and agreed on the time when the second batch of resources would be delivered, as well as the time to enter the teleportation portal. During this time, Zichen made a small request, which was to secretly send him in without anyone noticing. Liu Zhen immediately understood Zichen's meaning, and his eyes were filled with gratitude. Zichen didn't want to be a burden to him. Because the demon race's plan had been destroyed, the demon race was bound to investigate to the end, and they might even find him. Once the evidence was conclusive, he would die without a doubt. No one would be able to save him, unless the legendary demon god appeared. This shouldn't be a problem, Liu Zhen said. Before it opens, I will find a way to do it without anyone noticing. Zichen asked, only sacred spirits? Yes, only sacred spirits. That is the place where a sacred venerate fell, and it is full of all kinds of unstable power. If a sacred venerate were to enter, it might cause some kind of change, so only sacred spirits would enter. Liu Zhen said goodbye and left. Before entering that area, he still had many things to take care of. Not long after, old Blindy returned, and Zichen gave him all the techniques and resources he had obtained. Recently, under Zichen's leadership, the spirit race had killed many commanders and vice-commanders, which had served as a deterrent in many cities. In addition, news of the Demon Snake Guard's huge losses had spread everywhere, causing the demon race in other cities to panic. They were always worried that the spirit race would come and kill them. As a result, the lives of the spirit race in the cities improved greatly. At the same time, the spirit race, led by Old Blindy, had also benefited greatly. After all, every commander was very wealthy. After trading with Liu Zhen, many of them had broken through with the help of many spirit race resources. Seeing these spirit race techniques, Old Blindy's expression became very excited. Zichen said, Liu Zhen told me before that he would give me a spot. Once I complete the mission, I will leave. Old Blindy was stunned, and his excited expression gradually calmed down. Yes, I almost forgot about that. Regardless of whether I complete the mission or fail, I will return to the Saint Spirit realm. Zichen looked at Old Blindy and said, if you are willing, I would like to take all of you with me. It was very difficult for the spirit race to live here, so Zichen decided to help as much as he could. He decided to take all of Old Blindy's spirit race people with him. Just us? Old Blindy asked. Zichen said helplessly, let's not talk about the limited space. Even if I could take everyone with me, I wouldn't dare. There were disputes among the demon race, but so were the spirit race. Zichen had come here to destroy the demon race's invasion plan. Once he took all of the spirit race people with him, even if he didn't succeed, if a traitor were to appear among these spirit race people and collude with the demon race in the Saint Spirit realm, the losses would be great. And besides that, where would he put everyone after he took them with him? They considered themselves to be spirit race people, but how could the Saint Spirit Realm's spirit race people recognize them? They were willing to take Old Blindy's people because they had followed Old Blindy since they were young. They were trustworthy. Old Blindy shook his head and said, "Forget it. Once we leave, the spirit race people will be in an even worse situation. If we stay, although we won't be able to overthrow the demon race's control, we'll still be able to intimidate them. That's fine too. After a while, Liu Zhen will send some resources over, including spirit skills. If there are any suitable ones, distribute them for everyone to cultivate. No matter the time, powerful combat power is the foundation of everything." Zichen warned, "Also, we've been too ruthless recently, causing the demon snake guard to suffer great losses. The intimidating effect has also played a role, so for a long time, let's not attack the demon race again. Let's first recuperate and become stronger." Old Blindy nodded. Zichen's contributions were the biggest reason why things had gone so smoothly. However, they could not ignore the internal strife within the demon snake guard, which allowed them to take advantage of this loophole. If this situation continued and they truly angered the higher-ups of the demon snake guard, then the demon snake guard might purge the entire spirit race. At that time, the losses would truly outweigh the gains. That very day, Old Blindy arranged for everyone to return to prevent the demon race from finding any clues. He stayed behind to wait for the last batch of resources. Zichen remained in the city, waiting for Liu Zhen's news. 3 days later, Liu Zhen came to find Zichen. His expression was not very good, and he sighed as soon as he entered the door. "What's wrong?" Zichen asked. Liu Zhen said, "The situation has changed. There was a major discovery in that area." Zichen asked curiously, "What kind of discovery?" "Someone has concluded that there may be remnants left behind by the demon god there," Liu Zhen said. "Demon god?" Zichen was taken aback. "Isn't that just a legend?" "It has always been a legend, but this time, someone seems to have come to an accurate conclusion that there are remnants left behind by the demon god there." Liu Zhen's expression was ugly. After the news spread, the higher-ups of the demon race were in an uproar. They tried to send people in to find some good things. Zichen did not understand. Wasn't that left behind by the spirit race? Wasn't there a teleportation formation to leave? How is it related to the demon god? Liu Zhen said, "There is a saying among the higher-ups that the spirit race's army had killed countless powerful demon race warriors. At that time, the spirit race was almost invincible, and it was extremely easy for them to retreat. But just as they were about to leave, the demon god appeared and stopped them. After the demon god used his great power to kill all of the spirit race, he left behind remnants there for later generations to explore and open up a path to the spirit race. Then, they could enter the spirit realm to seek justice." "Do you believe that?" Zichen asked. Liu Zhen smiled bitterly. "It doesn't matter if I don't believe it. The key is that the other demons believe it. Although the overall situation is still under the control of the demon snake guards, there are many more people. The Saint Venerables who originally had no interest in that place have all started to pay attention to that place." Zichen said, "So what? Can they still go in?" Liu Zhen said helplessly, "That is the crux of the problem. The Saint Venerables cannot go in, but if they work together, they might be able to open up a special path to send a half-step Saint Venerable in. With a half-step Saint Venerable in charge, it will be very difficult for our plan to succeed." Zichen did not expect that Liu Zhen would still want to sabotage his plan at this time. It seemed that he was even more concerned than him, a spirit race member. "Don't you also have a Saint Venerable behind you? You can have your holy venerables send out half-step Saint Venerables as well. Wouldn't that work?" Zichen said with a smile. Before coming here, Zichen had asked Chung Ho about half-step Saint Venerables. The other party had told him that half-step Saint Venerables were existences who were already on the path of Saint Venerables. They were just slightly further ahead than 9-star Holy Spirits. According to what Chung Ho had said, that path was for fools without potential. It was equivalent to walking on a fork in the road. If one wanted to walk back, it would be very difficult. Furthermore, Chung Ho had said that not everyone had to become a half-step Saint Venerable. However, Once one became a half-step Saint Venerable, it would be like stepping into a quagmire. It would be very difficult to pull one's foot out of it. Back then, Chung Ho had asked Zi Chen if he had ever seen a half-step Saint Venerable walking around. Zi Chen shook his head, indicating that he had not. Chung Ho had laughed at that time. Of course, that was because they were all in the quagmire, thinking about how to get out. Back then, Chung Ho had said very clearly that there was no need to be afraid of half-step Saint Venerables. Mo Chen. Liu Zhen called out when he saw that Zi Chen was absent-minded. Zi Chen came back to his senses and said, "Oh, please continue." Liu Zhen clapped his hands and said helplessly, "My brother Mo Chen, I have said what I should say. What else do you want me to continue? Now, it's your turn to speak. What should we do next?" Zi Chen said, "You know my strength. I can barely deal with a 9-star Holy Spirit. However, fighting a half-step Saint Venerable is like courting death. Do I look like I am courting death?" Liu Zhen said bitterly, "Even you say so. It seems that I am completely finished this time. The Saint Venerable has given me a death order. No matter what, I have to complete the plan. However, I don't have the strength to do so. Everything still depends on you. However, if you don't have the confidence, then only death is left for me. It is still too early to say this. Maybe when all the half-step Saint Venerables have gone to find the opportunity, we can take the opportunity to destroy the transmission formation, right? Or, while they are all fighting for the demon god's opportunity, we can quietly destroy the transmission formation." Zi Chen patted Liu Zhen's shoulder and said, "The situation is unclear now. Let's talk about it when we are inside." It seemed that this was the only way. No matter how anxious Liu Zhen was, it was useless. Before leaving, Liu Zhen left behind the opportunity. The old blind man, who had been staying here, left with the last of the resources. Zi Chen knew very well that if the plan failed, Liu Zhen's authority would be suppressed. This might be the last transaction. Therefore, he was actually more anxious than Liu Zhen. Half-step Saint Venerable. Chung Ho did not care about this realm. He could even kill a group of people with one slap. However, he could not. However, it was useless to be anxious now. Zi Chen could only comprehend the demon eye in the limited time. What if it really was the demon god's eye? If he had a connection with the demon god, he might be able to avoid some trouble in that area. Another 3 days passed, and the city began to discuss this matter. It was exactly what Liu Zhen had said. However, as the rumors spread, it became infinitely exaggerated. Some people even asserted that once they obtained the demon god's relic, they would have a chance of becoming the new demon god. However, when these words were said, it attracted countless rebuttals. The demon god was not dead. How could there be a new demon god? All kinds of arguments and even fights broke out. However, most of the demon race only discussed it. They were not qualified to enter that place at all. They were not even qualified to get close. Even many of the saint spirits were not qualified to do so. 7-star sacred spirits were the lowest realm to enter. Only those who had reached 7-star were qualified to enter. After Zi Chen received the news, he left the city and set foot on the path to the demon god's relic alone. The road ahead was full of uncertainty. Therefore, Zi Chen planned to rely on his own strength and cultivation. Before entering, he did not plan to get involved with Liu Zhen. Liu Zhen could be considered the demon race's best to the spirit race. He did not want to implicate Liu Zhen after his identity was exposed. Chapter 42:10. The road ahead was long, and there were many passers-by. They were all demons, and their realms were not low. Some were in groups of 3 to 5, forming small teams, and some were walking alone. Along the way, a Holy Spirit came to invite Zi Chen to explore together, but Zi Chen refused. He was not used to staying with a group of demons. After all, he was from the Ling clan. Along the way, Zi Chen saw many small teams absorbing the passers-by and becoming a sizable team. And the leaders were often young men who looked similar to him. The combat power of these leaders was unknown, but to be able to gather so many people, the force behind them must have a great advantage. According to Liu Zhen, to be recognized in the demon race, one must have the surname of demon. And to meet this requirement, One only needed to have a holy venerable in the family, and the whole family would be given the surname of demon. A holy spirit of the demon race walked over from afar. Zichen continued forward, pretending not to see it. "Brother, are you willing to join our team?" the holy spirit of the demon race asked as he approached. Zichen shook his head. Not interested. Earlier, he noticed that the other party was recruiting people everywhere, but he did not know what they promised, but almost everyone agreed. Even some of the small teams that had already formed obviously had the advantage of the family behind them. "My young master is from the Martial Arts Academy, and his realm has already reached 9 stars, and he can become a half-step holy venerable at any time. If you follow my young master, let's not talk about the harvest, at least you can stay alive." The other party followed Zichen's footsteps and continued. Zichen replied indifferently, "If it's to stay alive, why would I come here? Wouldn't it be better to stay at home?" The Holy Spirit was stunned, and smiled. "Looks like I said something wrong. What I meant was, after entering, the chances of survival with my young master are very high." Zichen said, "I believe that, but the good things are first seen by your young master, right?" The Holy Spirit said, "Brother, you're thinking too much. Actually, my young master is only entering this time to promote his fiend celestial beast. To put it bluntly, he only wants resources related to the fiend celestial. As for the relics of other holy venerables, he doesn't care." Fiend celestial beast. Zichen was astonished. "Is it the legendary fiend celestial beast by the side of the demon god?" The Holy Spirit said, "You don't have the pure bloodline of the legendary fiend celestial beast, but you're not far from it. Once you advance, you might become a real fiend celestial beast." Zichen said, "So you're saying that you're looking for people to form alliances with because you want to help your young master's fiend celestial beast advance?" Zichen's questions had already caused a hint of anger to appear in the sacred spirit's eyes, but he suppressed it very well. "Of course, I can't let you all work for nothing. Once we obtain the fiend god beast's resources, the prince will also give everyone some extra benefits. I believe that many of you won't be able to refuse such benefits." Zichen asked curiously, "Oh, what kind of resources?" The Holy Spirit proudly said, "The pure demonic power of the royal family is something that every existence under the royal family yearns for even in their dreams." He pointed to a few people in the distance. "Do you see those people? They all had the demonic nature, but they still couldn't resist the temptation of the royal demonic power, so they brought the whole team to join in." Originally, Zichen wanted to refuse, but then he thought about it. With such a good opportunity in front of him, why not accept it? Or it could be said that this was a free opportunity. If he followed the Holy Spirit's team inside, he wouldn't have to be interrogated, and he wouldn't have any psychological burden afterwards. Because he was very clear that this guy was recruiting people everywhere. There was only one use for him, and that was to be cannon fodder. "Okay, I agree." Zichen nodded, and there was naturally some excitement in his expression. Part of it was faked. After all, he had to show that he was interested in something. The other part was real. He was in a very good mood. "How should I address you? What's your realm?" the Holy Spirit asked with a smile. At the same time, there was some contempt in his eyes when he looked at Zichen. This trick of his had been tested time and time again. Who could ignore the power of the royal family? Zichen, 8-star demon spirit realm. After Zichen finished his introduction, the Holy Spirit looked at Zichen with even more contempt. The smile on his face also became a bit colder. "Follow the team well from now on, and you won't be short of benefits." An 8-star Holy Spirit who didn't even have the demonic nature dared to ask so many questions. At first, he thought that this Lone Ranger might be extraordinary, and that he was at least a 9-star Holy Spirit. He didn't expect that after talking for so long, his mouth was dry, he was just an 8-star Holy Spirit. His attitude naturally became cold. Zichen didn't care. He followed the Holy Spirit forward. Along the way, he asked, "How should I address you, brother?" The Holy Spirit's attitude was indifferent. "Just call me Lord." Zichen nodded. "Yes, Lord." The Holy Spirit looked at him with eyes full of ridicule. He didn't even bother to look at Zichen. When they arrived at the team, one of them asked, "How is it, Shi Li said, I made a mistake. An 8-star. The Holy Spirit smiled and said, Little Lord 8-star Holy Spirit, come over here. Zichen walked over. At this moment, there were more than 10 people around that Holy Spirit. According to Zichen's soul power perception, they were all 8-star Holy Spirits. The 8-star Holy Spirits were together, the 9-star Holy Spirits were together, and other than that, there were the teams that came for the pure royal power. The Lord who had the fiend celestial beast hadn't come yet, so everyone was divided into different groups, and no one said anything. As they walked forward, Zichen noticed that there were 4 people who were responsible for recruiting others. Under the temptation of the royal power, the team was constantly growing. That Lord didn't appear for a long time. Zichen was a man of few words, and he didn't communicate with others. So when those 8-star Holy Spirits finished introducing themselves, the atmosphere was a little awkward when it came to Zichen. "Mph, you're just an 8-star Holy Spirit. Do you really think you're a 9-star Holy Spirit?" A person beside Zichen snorted coldly. When that person introduced himself, he said that his name was Mo Xian. Mo Xi was his real surname, and his first name was Yang. As for the other people, they were the same as Zichen. They didn't have the word Mo in front of their names, so they faintly regarded this Mo Xian as the leader. In the demon world, surnames were very important, especially the surname Mo. Not everyone could use it. For example, Zichen, there was almost no one who casually used the alias Mo Chen. Because once it was discovered, it would be a capital offense. He still didn't introduce himself, so Zichen was isolated by the 8-star Holy Spirits, and there was a hint of rejection in their words. Just as Mo Xian was muttering to himself, wondering if he should kick this unsociable fellow away, a resounding roar suddenly rang out. The Lord who had the fiend celestial beast had finally arrived. Chapter 42:11. The people who were still discussing earlier all quieted down. Everyone's attention fell on the tall exotic beast, including Zichen. After seeing the exotic beast, everyone's expression changed, including Zichen. Some were shocked, some were envious, and some had strange expressions. The latter was naturally Zichen. The tall exotic beast was extremely ugly. It could walk like a human, but there were 2 fangs in its mouth and a wide nose. If it was not for the unique aura that shocked Zichen, he would definitely think that it was a fanged boar that had become a spirit. The aura was very unique and shocked everyone's souls. Everyone was only shocked, but Zichen was in disbelief. That was because he was very familiar with the aura, and he had also sensed an aura that was 10 times purer than that. This was a fiend celestial beast. His expression was a little strange. His eyes first fell on the owner of the fiend celestial beast. It was a young man wearing a rare purple robe. On his robe, there was a pattern of a fiend celestial beast. Of course, the so-called fiend celestial beast was that fanged boar. If this scene was seen by the people of the Holy Spirit world, they would definitely laugh their heads off. However, here, everyone had a respectful attitude and looked at the young man with longing in their eyes. The other party did not hide his level either. He was a 9-star Holy Spirit. The young man stood there, and the Holy Spirits who were originally in various places walked toward him. The young man saluted everyone and said, "Everyone, I am MCMAU for the rest of the journey, we will advance and retreat together. Everyone has seen the fiend celestial beast beside me. This time, when we enter the fiend celestial ruins, I only want resources related to the fiend celestial beast. I don't want anything else. According to the agreement, as long as we obtain resources, I will give everyone royal magic power in return. I hope everyone can do their best, and I hope everyone can survive. After this, if anyone is still willing to stay by my side and work for me, I, MCMAU, will welcome you." Just a few short sentences, coupled with his powerful aura and the intimidation of the fiend celestial beast, made everyone around him nod, then salute and call him sir. These people were temporarily subdued. MCMAU waved his hand and said, "Let's continue." The people who had already gathered together walked forward one after another. The 4 people who were in charge of soliciting previously followed beside MCMAU and reported some of the situation. MCMAU nodded and frowned at times. After a while, The four of them split up again and went to recruit more people. There were already more than 100 people in the team, but the other party was still recruiting. This made Zi Chen somewhat puzzled. After all, the levels of these people were not low. Even the lowest was an 8-star. What was the point of having so many people? A moment later, more people joined the team, and those people's realms were 7 stars. Previously, the four of them had clearly overlooked the existence of 7 stars. After these 7 stars joined in, they were all excited. When they saw the fiend celestial beast, they were even more shocked. They were not deliberately targeted because of their low realms. Only when there was no one in sight did they return. Next, they divided the people into groups. Those who originally had a group were still in the same group, while those who didn't were divided into another group according to their level. On Zi Chen's side, 6 people were in a group. The temporary leader was Mo Xian, who disliked him. After receiving the position of leader, Mo Xian coughed lightly and said, "Now, let's be frank. If you have any opinions about me, Mo Xian, then feel free to raise them. We can discuss it properly. Even if you want me to call you boss, that's fine too. But once we enter the ruins, everyone will shut their mouths because when that time comes, you can only have ears and only ears. Following my orders will be your next duty. Do you all hear me?" Of course, he did not dare to say this out loud. He used rumors. The other 4 responded telepathically, indicating that they understood. Mo Xian glanced at Zi Chen, his gaze somewhat cold. Zi Chen said helplessly, "Got it." Mo Xian nodded satisfactorily. He thought that the work of unity this time was completed perfectly. Asterisk 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 asterisk. The fiend celestial ruins were in a wasteland. It was a place that the Devil Eagle Guard accidentally discovered. At that time, the space was in disorder. He opened the space and entered, discovering a shocking secret. Following that, the Devil Eagle Guard began to investigate and found clues about the spirit race. Only then did they hand it over to the Devil Snake Guard. But later on, they discovered the news of the Fiend Celestial. Hence, the Devil Dragon Guard and the Devil Tiger Guard also joined in. They were a large army of the Devil Realm. Every one of them who could be selected was an outstanding person. But this time, because the difficulty was high and the level was extremely high, those who could be present were some of the upper echelons of the various large armies. When Zi Chen's group arrived, countless experts of the devil race had already gathered. Among them, the most conspicuous thing was the towering army flags. Even if only the upper echelons could enter, the various large armies still had the advantage of numbers. Zi Chen did not discover any half-step holy venerables. It seemed that their entrance was not here. The sole remembrance that he released earlier had already discovered Liu Zhan. As a commander, he brought a 9-star deputy commander and a 100-man team this time. Among them, 20 were 8-star holy spirits. The remaining 80 were 7-star holy spirits. There were too many people, so he did not see Zi Chen. After MCMAU arrived, the fiend celestial beast beside him caused a small commotion. Almost everyone's attention fell on the fiend celestial beast at the first moment. MCMAU gently raised his hand and the team stopped. He could be seen leading the fiend celestial beast alone and walking forward. At this moment, MCMAU and the fiend celestial beast were the focus. From the other large armies, a few people came out and greeted MCMAU. Zi Chen's attention, on the other hand, was on a few other places. There was a small group of people, at most 20. They were all hidden under black robes. Judging from the aura that they exuded, these people were not weak. And there were more than 20 small teams like this. Looks like this is the peak of the devil race's strength. Many forces and powerhouses have come. Those black-robed people may be members of the royal family. Perhaps there are members of the royal family among them. Reality proved that following MCMAU here was a very wise choice. This was because there was no need to be checked. When other teams came in, there would be people who would check their identities. While MCMAU was chatting with those from the other armies, Liu Zhan finally noticed Zi Chen in the crowd. He excitedly transmitted his voice, "I thought you weren't coming. How is it? Have you thought of a way? Let's go in first." Chapter 42:12. Hearing Zi Chen's telepathic message, Liu Zhen did not dare to respond. This was an unusual plan, so they had to be extra careful. Zi Chen looked ahead. That MCMAU guy seemed to have a wide network of connections. He was familiar with many leaders and was greeting them. Even now, he was still the center of attention because he had a fiend celestial beast. Zi Chen paid extra attention. Those black-robed people did not seem to care. They just glanced at MCMAU and lost interest. There were still people coming from behind, but they had to be investigated. It seemed like there was still a step of checking their identities. After a while, MCMAU came back. He looked at everyone and said, "In less than half a day, the fiend celestial relic will open. Follow me closely to avoid any accidents." Everyone nodded. Zi Chen spread his soul power around to check the situation. The highest level here was a 9-star Holy Spirit. There were no half-step Holy Spirits, nor were there any Holy Venerables. It seemed that the Holy Venerables who were interested in this place had gone to other areas to open a passage for the half-step Holy Venerables. Asterisk 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 Brother Wuda, you don't look very happy. The Holy Venerables from the Demon G family looked at Mo Wuda, who was in a bad mood, and smiled. This time, the task of opening a passage was given to the Demon Snake Guards. So, many of the Demon Snake Guards' Holy Venerables were here. Of course, the passage was not opened for nothing. All the Holy Venerables who participated could send a half-step Holy Venerate in. How is that possible? Mo Wuda smiled faintly and said, "We will do our best for the demon race." Holy Venerate Mo Yang smiled and said, "Brother Wuda, your words are beautiful. However, I believe you know the pain in your heart." Mo Wuda snorted softly. Holy Venerate Mo Ji laughed and said, "Wuda, how many years have we known each other? How can I not know about your personality? Speaking of which, you spent a lot of effort to get the resources allocated by the higher-ups and gave this place to us. Now that it has become the fiend celestial relic, do you regret it?" Holy Sage Mo Yang added, "Even if he regrets it, it's useless. He's too young, and he doesn't have any capable half-step holy sages by his side. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made such a face as soon as he arrived. It's very clear that not only is there no benefit to him, all of the credit has nothing to do with him." Mo Wuda snorted heavily. He didn't reply, but his face was ashen. The few Holy Venerates at the side laughed loudly. Last time, when the Demon Snake Guards were purged, Mo Wuda alone had reaped great benefits. His status in the Demon Snake Guards had also risen by quite a bit. The other Saint Venerables had also suffered a loss, so they were naturally unwilling to accept it. However, he did not expect that the heavens would open their eyes and this place would suddenly become a demon god's relic. Naturally, there were many benefits. But Moda would not be able to obtain anything. "All right, the ceremony is about to begin. Everyone, be alert," said a nearby Saint Venerable. Behind these Holy Venerates stood many demons. They were all half-step Holy Venerates. Their auras were extraordinary, and each had their own merits. The many Holy Venerates worked together to forcibly open a passage outside the relic. However, after the passage was opened, the amount of energy consumed caused the Holy Venerates' expressions to change. This is the resistance against the power left behind by the Fiend Celestial. "Hurry up and go in first." Holy Sage Mo Ji turned around and said, "You guys go in first before the others. Hurry up." These half-step Holy Venerates who were already prepared turned into streaks of light and flew in. When the last person disappeared, the Holy Venerates immediately stopped. In less than a quarter of an hour, the Holy Venerates had joined forces to resist the power left behind by the Fiend Celestial many years ago. However, they still consumed a lot of energy. One could imagine how powerful the Fiend Celestial was back then. Holy Sage Mo Ji, whose face was still pale, said, "Pass down the order. The others can go in now." Asterisk 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 asterisk. The passage to the relic had already appeared, but it wasn't open. There was a Demon Snake Guard team made up entirely of 9-star commanders guarding the entrance. Zi Chen, who was carefully observing his surroundings, suddenly had a change in expression. At that moment, he felt that something strange had happened to the entrance of the passage. It seemed to have become unstable, and he could faintly feel the power of a holy venerate lingering around. This kind of unstable soul power only appeared for an instant before disappearing. This made Zi Chen feel a bit absent-minded, wondering if it was an illusion. However, a quarter of an hour later, the same thing happened again. However, other than the soul power being unstable, there was no other abnormality. Zi Chen deliberately paid attention to it, but he was very puzzled. Not long after, the people guarding the passage opened up a path for everyone to enter. The demon snake guard went in first, and Liu Zhen's team was among them. This time, just the demon snake guard alone had already reached 10,000 people. It had to be known that this was a 7-star or higher existence. The scale this time was much larger than the last time Zi Chen had entered the Lost World. Furthermore, this was only a portion of the demon race's experts, not all of them. It could be seen that the demon race had been recuperating for many years and had indeed cultivated many powerhouses. Otherwise, they would not have been scheming to enter the Saint Spirit realm. After the demon snake guard went in, MCMAU signaled for everyone to move. It was obvious that they wanted to go in first. It was hard to say what opportunities there would be inside, so if they went in early, they might be able to occupy an advantageous position. Zi Chen and the others were the third batch to go in. Under MCMAU's lead, everyone went in one by one. Asterisk 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 waves of air hit him in the face. Zi Chen felt a familiar aura, and his soul power probed forward. The air was filled with spiritual power, and there was also a lot of devil power mixed together. There was also the pressure of a holy venerate. He did not know if this was the demon god's relic, but there was definitely something about the holy venerate. The ground was decayed, and many ravines and countless battlefields could be seen. Occasionally, 1 or 2 broken weapons could be seen standing there. However, after countless years of erosion, these weapons had long lost their spiritual power and become abandoned things. Occasionally, some would still emit spiritual light, and people would treat them as priceless treasures. Zi Chen's soul continued to extend, and he even saw bones. There was an unknown demon beast with a body like a giant mountain, standing between heaven and earth. Its physical body had already decayed, and only white bones were left. A group of demons rushed forward excitedly. Such white bones were also rare priceless treasures. If they brought them back, they could be condensed into weapons. However, just as they approached, a powerful aura suddenly erupted from the white bones. Vaguely, a huge beast shadow appeared, and it let out a deafening roar at the demons. A powerful ripple visible to the naked eye appeared, forming an attack wave, and sent the demons flying. The demons who were sent flying looked pale. Some of them had blood at the corner of their mouths. When they looked forward again, there was a drastic change in their eyes. The white bones lost their light, and turned into dust and scattered. Zi Chen retracted his soul power. The roar from before was filled with anger and unwillingness. As a spirit, he could feel that emotion and will. If those demons had not approached, the white bones would have remained in the world for many years. However, the aura of the demons had stimulated its last remaining strength. Chapter 42:13. Let's go. What are you waiting for? Mo Xian's impatient voice rang out. Only then did Zi Chen notice that everyone had already started moving forward. He followed, but his mood was fluctuating greatly. The world was filled with the pressure of a holy venerable, causing many people to feel uncomfortable, so everyone's speed was not fast. In such a place, no one knew what dangers were waiting for everyone. After walking for less than 15 minutes, Mo Wuju said, "There is no danger here at the moment. Everyone, speed up." Those demon snake guards had entered early and were already gone. Mo Wuju was obviously anxious. Thus, everyone sped up their pace. At this moment, although Zi Chen was moving forward with everyone, his soul power had already dissipated. He had not seen the battle scene back then, but after seeing those corpses, he could still imagine it. Just this place alone had many holy venerables killed in battle. Those tall skeletons were all at the holy venerable realm when they were alive. As those demons continued to try, The skeletons exhausted their last bit of strength and then dissipated. Because of the difference in strength, some demons were sent flying, some were injured, and in the end, there were even deaths. Zichen's soul power spread out in all directions. Seeing those skeletons disappear, his heart was very heavy and very tragic. They had clearly died in battle and had no consciousness, but they could still sense the aura of the demons and launch their final attack. What kind of belief was this? Even after countless years, it still did not dissipate. The unwillingness of the skeletons before they died caused Zichen's mood to be unable to calm down for a long time. He raised his head and looked at the sky. This place had been sealed for countless years. He somewhat believed that the demon god existed in the world, because only the demon god would have such powerful strength and methods to kill all the holy venerables of the spirit clan and then completely seal this place. Because if it was not sealed, even if these holy venerables died, to the demons in the world, this place would be a place of no return. Even the holy venerables who died in battle here could be transformed into battle spirits and enter the demon world to fight until the last person died. These were the ancestors of the spirit clan back then. Their desire to exterminate demons was unstoppable. Even if they died in battle, their souls would never be extinguished. At present, they had yet to discover any fortuitous encounters. However, the demon snake guards had already suffered casualties. This caused the leaders at the front to feel somewhat furious. Thus, they signaled for the others to stop thinking about the skeletons. After seeing desiccated bones, everyone deliberately went around him. Why is there only the spirit clan and no demon saint venerables? Judging from the mess on the battlefield, shouldn't the holy masters of the spirit race be the only ones who have died? Zichen, who was walking forward, suddenly realized the problem. So far, not a single corpse of a holy venerable of the demon race had appeared. Actually, the demon snake guards had also sensed the problem from the very beginning. However, they still wanted to give it a try. They wanted to see if they could find any opportunities. But it obviously didn't work. As Zichen continued to move forward, a skeleton finally appeared in his field of vision. It was a human standing on the messy ground. He held a broken sword in his hand and looked up at the sky. The other half of the weapon was stabbed into the ground. He was just an ordinary human. He wasn't very tall. However, when he stood there, it was as if he was an independent small world. All the demons who passed by deliberately avoided him. No one dared to go forward. MCMAU looked at the scene in front of him and frowned. Beside him, the fiend celestial beast let out a low, vigilant growl. "Get out of the way." After hesitating for a while, MCMAU said indifferently. It was obvious that he didn't want to go over and look for trouble. It was obvious that there was no fortuitous encounter. If he was injured like the others, the loss would outweigh the gain. There was no need to fight with a skeleton that was blocking the way. At this moment, a cry of surprise was heard. "What are you doing? Sir told you to get out of the way. Didn't you hear?" It was Mo Xian's voice. At this moment, he was glaring at Zichen angrily. Zichen, on the other hand, walked forward step by step and went straight for the skeleton. The others also noticed this scene, and their expressions changed one by one. Mo Xian wanted to go forward and stop him but was stopped by MCMAU. Since someone was courting death, he was naturally happy to watch. Moreover, it was only an 8-star. It wouldn't affect the overall situation. Zichen walked forward. It was not that he had to be so conspicuous, but when he approached this place, he felt a calling. This calling was not strong. It was intermittent and would not affect Zichen's soul. Like the others, Zichen could completely avoid it. It would not be a problem. However, on second thought, the Lord tragically died in battle in the alternate world. There was not even a corpse to be collected. The skeleton that was left behind in this area did not disperse for a long time. Perhaps it had some unfulfilled wish. Therefore, he walked forward, even though he seemed so out of place at this moment. He arrived in front of the skeleton. Around him, the others held their breaths. This was because under normal circumstances, as long as he got a little closer, he would trigger the skeleton's anomaly. If it was light, he would be sent flying. If it was serious, he would be injured or even die. Chen kept moving forward. As he got closer, the calling became stronger and stronger. He arrived in front of the skeleton. Both of them were only a fist's distance away. There was an uproar behind him. According to what had happened before, Chen should have triggered the anomaly long ago. Chen looked at the skeleton in front of him and apologized in his heart. Then, he reached out and touched the skeleton's shoulder. In the next moment, the skeleton began to shake. Countless rays of light bloomed, dazzling and eye-catching. Some of the demons subconsciously closed their eyes. It was obvious that this was about to erupt. However, immediately after, the cheers rose again. Because Chen hadn't been sent flying, the rays of light that had been released converged in front of Chen. They didn't have any destructive power. Instead, they turned into a shining pearl. Although Wei Jiantong and his wife killed 12 demon lords in the demon realm, we have no regrets if we die here today. Qiao, wait for me for a moment. I will accompany you immediately. However, our spirit tribe's sword art will disappear in the demon realm. It is a great pity for the spirit realm. We have left behind the most powerful sword art of our lives for the fated ones of the spirit race to obtain. Just as the rays of light condensed, a voice entered Chen's mind. It was left behind by the skeleton many years ago. It was also his last wish before he died in battle. Chen was a little shocked. The husband and wife were both Saint Venerables. They had killed 12 demon lords. How extraordinary was their combat power. However, why were there no corpses? Why were there only corpses of the spirit tribe's Saint Venerables? The skeleton in front of him had disappeared. A light ball appeared in Chen's hand. The light ball was filled with strong sword intent. This was the sword art left behind by Jiantong. In the Saint Spirit realm, this was an ancient sword art. You're quite lucky. Bring it over for me to see. Chapter 42:14. Looking at the ball in Chen's hand, everyone was stunned. Up until now, no one had obtained the opportunity. Chen was the first to obtain the opportunity from these powerful skeletons. MCMAU looked at Chen with a smile. Chen held the only thing left behind by the sword companion senior, his eyes filled with caution. Didn't you say earlier that you'd only take the resources related to the demon god? MCMAU was slightly taken aback. He did not expect the other party to say that. It was just an energy ball, not a big deal. In his estimation, as long as he opened his mouth, the other party would respectfully present it to him with both hands. The way the others looked at MCMAU had also changed. If MCMAU insisted on snatching the resources from Chen's hands, then he would lose the hearts of the people. MCMAU, who had a panoramic view of all this, laughed involuntarily. I'm just taking a look. If you're really the only one who can obtain it, then I'll ask the people in front to do me a favor. Then you can take everything away. Chen clearly breathed a sigh of relief, as did the others around him. Chen came forward with the ball and said, I don't know what happened either. I just wanted to try my luck, but I didn't expect to get this ball of light. In Chen's perception, the sword will in this ball of light was boiling and extremely lively. Clearly, even to Chen, this was a treasure. However, the expressions of the others around him did not change much. When they looked at the ball of light, they only felt curiosity, nothing more. If one person was pretending to be calm, Chen would believe it. If everyone was so calm, Chen would not believe it. Therefore, when he walked toward MCMAU, he had a guess in his heart. That was, only he could feel the sword will in it, and no one else could. When he came closer, Chen respectfully handed the item to MCMAU. The other party picked it up and glanced at it. The spiritual power in it was tumbling, but other than that, there was nothing unusual. Obviously, this was something that the Lord had left for the Spirit clan. It was useless to the Demon clan. MCMAU could not see anything special about it. He looked at Chen and said, others can't get it, but you can. You're not from the Spirit tribe, are you? Chen snorted and said proudly, the Spirit race has an 8-star divine spirit. What's your name? MCMAU asked with a smile. Chen immediately cupped his hands and said, Sir, I am Chen. Oh. There was a hint of disdain in MCWTU's initially smiling eyes. A guy who did not even have a demonic nature. It seemed like it was just a coincidence. Thus, he said, looks like your luck is not bad. You can continue to try the next one and see if you can succeed. Zichen immediately nodded and said gratefully, to tell you the truth, I've had good luck since I was little. When I was young, everyone said that I wasn't good for cultivation, but I accidentally fell into a cliff and saw a very bright fruit inside. After eating it, my cultivation advanced by leaps and bounds. Very bright fruit. MCMAU asked with interest, what kind of fruit is it? I'm not sure either. It's been many years. Anyway, it's very bright and somewhat similar to this one. At that time, I was still young and the fruit was very fragrant. At that time, I couldn't resist the temptation at all, so I ate it. Zichen chuckled, looking a little silly. Looks like your good fortune today has something to do with that fruit. Go, find another one and try. If you really succeed, then all the bones that follow will be yours. Zichen's demonic aura could not be faked, so this story did not arouse MCMAU's suspicion. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. If I succeed, I'm willing to split the spoils 30-70. Sir, you can take 30%, and the other 70% is mine, Zichen said excitedly. When the people around heard this, the corners of their mouths twitched slightly. What a greedy guy. There were so many things here. How many light balls would he have to condense? Even if it was not of much use to them, it was left behind by a saint. It was not bad to use it as a souvenir. MCMAU waved his hand. No need. That's your good fortune. Naturally, it's yours. I'm happy to be able to help you. That's enough. Zichen saluted again. Sir, if you have any orders in the future, just say the word. Zichen will do anything to help. MCMAU laughed. It's not that serious. You take your things now. After that, we'll go deeper and find the real fortune. MCMAU's expression darkened. He looked around and said, everyone, I want to say something here. Since these bones are Zichen's good fortune, then don't try them one by one. Otherwise, you'll lose more than you gain. If you have your own gains later, I'll fight for them for you. When the others who had been scheming heard this, they immediately nodded their heads. To show that he was not just saying this, MCMAU continued, Shilly, the few of you go up and say hello. Tell them to leave these things for me. I'll remember this favor. When this matter is over, I'll meet everyone again. Yes. Shilly and the others nodded and left immediately. For the rest of the journey, no one dared to attack the skeletons. Other than being willing to do MCMAU a favor at no cost, it was also because they were afraid. Those skeletons were too evil. They did not want to be killed by these skeletons before they could even obtain anything. After walking for dozens of miles, Zichen saw the second set of bones. This was the skeleton of a spirit tribe beast. It was tall and majestic. Zichen did not feel any summoning power from it, but he still walked forward. When he got closer, the repulsive force did not appear. Zichen reached out and touched the bones. The bones moved and a voice came out. I'm from the mountains, so I won't leave my name. I've killed enough animals in the demonic realm this time. Even if I die, I won't lose anything. You spirit tribe brats can take it. In Zichen's consciousness, a voice like thunder rang out. Then, the bones dissipated and turned into a ball of light. The eyes of the people behind flashed. They had obtained another ball of light. It seemed that the fruit he ate that year was indeed extraordinary. Everyone, speed up. MCMAU reminded everyone again. Zichen took the lead and flew forward at full speed. Based on what he had learned from the previous 2 expeditions, he guessed that the ancestors had left behind some magical techniques when they died in battle, and he was the only one who could obtain them. Zichen was very glad. He was glad that he came here at this time. Otherwise, the only wish of these saint venerables who were not afraid of death would not be able to be fulfilled. At the same time, he was also a little regretful. He had watched as some of the bones disappeared and did not leave anything behind. The third, the fourth, the fifth. Zichen's soul spread out and sensed the location of each of the bones. He did not want to miss a single one. Even if he revealed a little of his soul in between, it did not matter. Chapter 42:15. Zichen heard one voice after another and obtained one ancient technique after another. This was an amazing opportunity. It could be considered the greatest opportunity that Zichen had encountered so far. If there were no accidents, he did not need to fight. He only needed to reach out gently and he could obtain an ancient holy venerate technique. However, he was not happy. His mood was very heavy. Many seniors left behind their techniques but were unwilling to leave their names. Many of them called themselves nameless. Some did not even speak. After Zichen's hand landed on them, only the technique appeared and the bones disappeared. He obtained dozens of light balls. Inside them were dozens of extremely powerful ancient techniques. When he obtained the techniques, Zichen also had doubts in his heart. Why did he not see the holy venerates of the demon race? Among them, many had killed enough. Why did he not see the corpses of those holy venerates? Moreover, in those messages, the word Sir would be mentioned from time to time. That was the Sir who led them to kill their way into this place. At this moment, that Sir was not seen. No one mentioned the demon god who had already done all this. Zichen's soul power discovered that the front had become a plain area. As far as the eye could see, there was still no vegetation. In fact, upon closer inspection, it was not a real plain. The ground had collapsed due to the aftermath of the battle. Compared to this area where there were corpses but no holy venerates of the demon race, the ground there was a full 1,000 feet lower. It was like a 1,000 feet high cliff, and everyone had to jump down. Zichen had not arrived, but his soul power had already discovered that the demon snake guards had encountered an enemy for the first time. It was a real enemy. It was not the spirit race, but a demon race creature. The fluctuations of the battle came from afar. Someone must be communicating with MCMAU. MCMAU immediately said, "Everyone, go in at full speed." He led the others and flew forward. The fiend celestial beast followed beside him. The others followed closely behind. It's demon power. Zichen used his soul power that far surpassed the others to discover that the dead demon race creatures had turned into streams of energy. Those streams of energy were demon power, extremely pure demon power. Moreover, there were different attributes among those demon power. Just like the demon dragon power that Zichen discovered in the Lost World. This discovery caused Zichen to speed up. Although the magic power was useless to him, he could bring it back for the magic ape to use. Demon creatures appeared one after another. The battle ahead had already begun. MCMAU landed. He glanced at the fiend celestial beast beside him and asked, "How was it?" The fiend celestial beast shook its head. MCMAU turned around and said, "Work in small groups. Kill these creatures and distribute the power you get." Obviously, MCMAU was not interested in these powers. Everyone shouted and rushed forward. Mo Xian glanced at Zichen and said, "Everyone, don't just stand there. Follow me to kill the enemy and we'll get contribution points." Only then did Zichen remember that it was not yet time for him to do whatever he wanted, so he could only follow Mo Xian. The 6 of them formed a small team and started attacking the creatures. These creatures were around the level of a 7-star holy spirit. They weren't strong, but the power they generated after they died was very pure. Everyone in the 6-man team had the strength to kill it alone. Now that they were in a small group with 6 people gathered together, they couldn't unleash their full power. MCMAU quickly realized this and said, "Everyone, spread out and fight on your own. Finally, we'll gather again." Everyone responded and spread out, carrying out their own battles. Zichen landed a punch and repelled a demon creature. A light flashed under his feet, and he quickly went forward. When his second punch landed, he killed another one. He received a surge of power. This kind of lethality was neither strong nor weak among the 8-star holy spirits. In the middle, others should not be able to see anything unusual. As for those 9-star holy spirits, he killed them with one punch. Everyone started to push forward, and everyone gained a lot. Zichen, who was still fighting, could not help but have doubts in his heart. How could there be such a place in the world? To the demons present, This wasn't even a test. It was simply a free opportunity for them. The dried bones from before could still bring danger to the demons and make them feel death. However, the creatures here were not even the slightest bit dangerous. As long as they paid attention, these creatures were like children delivering treasures. Every time they killed one, they could obtain a valuable treasure. Zichen looked at them from the corner of his eye. Everyone was overjoyed. Could it be that all this was the doing of that demon god? Was it to make those demons stronger? Although he had doubts in his heart, Zichen did not stop attacking. At a steady pace, he collected one surge of power after another. Behind him, MCMAU did not make a move. It seemed that with his status, he did not care about the power here. The fiend celestial beast stood next to him, looking around coldly. There seemed to be an endless number of creatures here. As soon as one was killed, a second one would soon appear. However, everyone had no intention of stopping. They kept on killing their way into the depths. The black-robed people who came in later had already surpassed them. If there were opportunities here, there would obviously be more opportunities in the depths. MCMAU urged, "Go in a straight line. The benefits inside will only be more than here." Everyone quickly followed behind. In fact, MCMAU's team was already full. Because they had wasted some time waiting for Zichen, and now that everyone was killing creatures to obtain opportunities, the whole team was separated. They were much slower than the others. The people brought by Liu Zhen had already disappeared from sight. That should be another space. Once everyone stepped into the designated area, they would disappear. Team assemble. Everyone, go in. Following MCMAU's order, everyone began to gather, then formed into small teams and killed their way into the depths. Any creatures that appeared along the way would be killed. Zichen's team walked at the back. This was because the leader, Mo Xian, wanted to gather more power and deliberately slowed down. Zichen pretended not to know and still killed a creature with 2 punches. MCMAU and the others moved forward quickly. When their figures reached the designated location, they disappeared. Then, one by one, the small teams disappeared. Beside them, Mo Xian's eyes began to flicker. He glanced at the person beside him. Zichen tapped his foot and accelerated instantly. Like a stream of light, he left the team and flew forward. In the next moment, his figure disappeared. Damn it! Mo Xian looked at the disappearing Zichen and could not help but curse. He's so careful. He didn't even give us a chance to threaten him. The others felt that it was a pity. They did not dare to kill Zichen here, but they could take advantage of the fact that no one was threatening him. For example, they could share 1 or 2 of the things they had obtained earlier. Chapter 42:16. After entering another space, what appeared in their field of vision were still demons. However, their combat strength was much stronger than before. Their combat strength was equivalent to that of an 8-star Holy Spirit. This made many people feel strained. As soon as Zichen entered this space, he noticed that Mo Wuju was looking at him, as if worried that he could not keep up. The two exchanged glances. Zichen nodded and smiled. Mo Xian's group of 5 followed closely behind. He looked at Zichen with eyes full of hostility. The demons here were stronger. Under the circumstances of hiding their strength, Zichen could only consider joining a small team. Zichen, don't you think you're being too greedy? Mo Xian's voice rang in Zichen's mind. This was a voice transmission. Greedy? Zichen did not understand. What do you mean? So many holy venerables. Don't you think a puny 8-star like you is too full to eat? Aren't you worried that you'll die from overeating? Mo Xian said, as the saying goes, those who see have a share. You should know this principle, right? I'm not sure. Zichen's lips curled into a smile. It seemed that after he obtained those things, everyone's eyes were starting to turn red. Mo Xian was the first, but he would not be the last. Zichen laughed coldly. The demons present were not weak, but they did not seem to be very smart. Do I need you to think about my things? Mo Wuju had been waiting for a long time. Even if I give it to you now, do you dare to take it? Zichen asked. Why wouldn't I? Mo Xian said coldly. Zichen said, if you really dare to take it, I'll give you 10 pills in front of everyone. Of course, this was a joke. Once Zichen got his hands on something like this, he would never take it out again. Mo Xian was stunned. He did not expect Zichen to do this. Of course, he did not dare to take it. In front of everyone, whoever took it would die. The reason why he was communicating with Zichen now was because they were in the same team. He felt that with his status, he could suppress Zichen. Furthermore, he wasn't greedy. He only wanted one. As the battle continued, everyone gradually began to feel the strain. Previously, Zichen could kill one with 2 punches, but now, it took him nearly 50 punches to kill one. However, the power obtained was also of a higher grade. The 7-star Saint spirits in the team regrouped and joined forces to kill the enemy. The efficiency was not very high, but every harvest was real. The devilish beings here were slightly weaker than the devilish beings of the same cultivation level. If this were the Holy Spirit realm, it would be a land of opportunity. Because it wasn't dangerous at all. Makutu began to attack as well. He punched one after another. The wind from his punches was very strong. Waves of energy floated around him one after another. The fiend celestial beast that had been beside him seemed to feel that it was tasteless after devouring the 2 creatures, so it gave up. One team after another moved forward, overtaking Zichen and the others. MC Mayu's advantage of being the first to enter the competition had been greatly diminished. Makwondu was a little anxious. However, the others were not anxious. They had already gained a lot. Even if they left now, they would still have profited. However, it was useless for MCMAU to be anxious alone. Everyone's combat strength was limited, so they could only kill slowly. Zichen was still punching alone. Gradually, he began to feel the strain. Makutu saw this and said, "Everyone, return to the team and fight. Power will be distributed according to contribution." Clearly, Makutu still did not intend to ask for resources. Previously, some people had already returned to the team. After hearing MCWTU's words, the others began to retreat. Zichen also returned to the team. The 6 of them attacked together, but the gazes that his teammates gave Zichen from time to time became very unfriendly. As the team leader, Mo Xian pointed at a few people and said, "Next, the power will be distributed according to ranking." Mo Xian pointed at a few people and arranged himself in the 5th position. Zichen was in the 6th position. In other words, the entire team had to kill 6 creatures before Zichen would receive 1 power. In other words, after killing 11 creatures, Zichen would still only receive 1 power. After the distribution was done, Mo Xian asked symbolically, "Does anyone have any objections?" The others shook their heads. Zichen, on the other hand, was too lazy to have any objections. After all, they were all going to die in the end. All the resources were destined to be his anyway. Now, who cared who they were? The team was still advancing. Zichen's soul power was already 1 step ahead of Makutu. He saw the scene in the depths. Just like before, everyone had disappeared. They had probably entered the next area. No one stayed in this area for too long, even if there were many opportunities here. Because everyone knew that there were more resources in the depths. Except for a few greedy and unlucky ones who were killed by dried bones remaining power, the others were still alive. In fact, they were still alive now. Even if some were injured, it was only minor injuries. Zichen could imagine that the next area would be very dangerous. Right now, the best thing to do was for those with lower realms to retreat. However, these people were like gamblers who had won a big victory. They were not willing to leave just like that. They wanted to win again. It was not easy for their luck to turn around. If they left now, wouldn't it be a loss? Moreover, the creatures that had not been very dangerous all this time made them let down their guard. Zichen could see that Makutu was anxious to enter the depths. Naturally, the others could see it too. However, since Makutu did not say anything, they did not deliberately speed up. After about half an hour, almost all the teams had overtaken them. They, who were at the front, were now the last. That's not right. Zichen's expression suddenly changed as he realized what was going on. MCWTU's anxiety was actually an act. His original intention was to stay at the back, such as the current situation. As for why that was, perhaps it had something to do with the third level. Because everyone was about to reach the end. Mkwotu did not ask if they were going back. Under the lead of his subordinate, Shili, everyone entered the third space. Zichen was at the back this time. Mo Xian and the others were also around him. Mkwotu was in the other direction, walking toward the third space. He was slightly faster than Zichen's team. Just as his figure disappeared, Mo Xian and the others suddenly stopped. They turned their heads and stared at Zichen fiercely. Right at this moment, a hurricane suddenly appeared and engulfed the few of them. Mo Xian and the others were swept into the next level by the hurricane. Zichen, on the other hand, was swept away by the hurricane. The hurricane around him gradually disappeared. Zichen stood in the air. In his field of vision, there were many demon tribe creatures. A ray of light appeared beside him and turned into a small black beast. It was Spectre. When it appeared, its eyes shone with excitement. It opened its mouth and inhaled. A strange force spread. The rules of this space seemed to be forcibly changed. The space began to distort, showing signs of collapse. Chapter 42:17. Peng. 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 The explosion was like a roar, resounding through the entire space. The demon clan creatures that Zichen needed 50 punches to kill before exploded one after another. When their bodies exploded, they did not leave behind any pure magic power. Instead, they turned into a magic mist. As the demonic creatures exploded, the demonic fog filled the surroundings, illuminating the distorted world into darkness. Then, the black fog was sucked into the spirit's mouth. It was as if a black vortex had opened up beside it, swallowing everything in its path. Zichen looked at the scene quietly. His changing expression told him that his heart was not calm. Earlier, the demon clan creatures were very attractive to the demon clan creatures. However, Zichen wanted to hide his strength, so he could only let it continue to hide. Now that he was the last one here, there was no need to worry. However, he did not expect the demon clan to be so fierce. In the blink of an eye, all the demon clan creatures in this world were cleared. The demon clan burped, very satisfied. After swallowing so many demon clan creatures that were much bigger than it, its body did not change at all. I'll take a rest first. If there's a chance at the next place, I'll continue to eat. The demon clan turned into a ray of light, disappearing beside Zichen. Zichen, on the other hand, continued to fly forward, not forgetting to act as if he was panicking. Cold sweat appeared on Mo Xian's forehead, dripping from the corner of his eyes. He stood there motionless, covered in cold sweat. Mo Wuju's gaze was as cold as a sword, as if it was going to pierce into his heart, causing waves of coldness to appear in his heart. "Speak, where is Zichen?" he asked coldly. Everything was under his control, and there were no accidents. However, because he was one step ahead, Zichen was gone. He had already noticed the strange expressions on Mo Xian's and the others' faces and guessed what they were doing. However, he did not pay too much attention to it, because in the end, it was still his. The relics of the saint, regardless of whether they were of the spirit clan or the demon clan, were valuable treasures. He had never intended to give it to Zichen. Who would have thought that such an accident would occur? Had a strange wind suddenly appeared and blown them in and Zichen away? Who would believe that? At this moment, the few people following Mo Xian were also trembling with fear. Originally, they had indeed planned to threaten Zichen again, but that strange wind had appeared at the wrong time. Now, they didn't get what they wanted, and Zichen was nowhere to be seen. It was hard for them to argue. At this moment, Zichen's figure staggered as he appeared. When he saw everyone present, he heaved a sigh of relief. At the same time, Mo Xian and the rest heaved a sigh of relief. If Zichen still did not appear, he even suspected that MCMAU would kill him on the spot. After this incident, he no longer dared to have any ideas about Zichen, because MCMAU had already set its sights on these things. What happened? MCMAU went up alone and asked with concern. Zichen said with lingering fear, "A strange wind suddenly appeared and almost swept me away." MCMAU nodded and said, "Then be careful." Then, MCMAU turned around and looked at everyone who had stopped in their tracks. He said indifferently, "In MCMAU's team, infighting is not allowed. Also, you're not allowed to steal things. We've already agreed that the things belong to whoever owns them. If there's anyone who doesn't agree in their hearts, then tell me in advance. If I find out who dares to break the rules, then don't blame me for being rude." Everyone nodded immediately. Just as MCMAU was speaking, Zichen diverted part of his energy to investigate the surroundings. This place was no longer an endless wasteland. There were more tall mountains and some vegetation. Compared to the previous two places, this place already looked a bit like a historical site. MCMAU waved his hand and said, "Let's go." Everyone walked forward. Zichen remained in Mo Xian's team. There was some pity in their eyes when they looked at him. After all, he had started off dead. MCMAU frowned. Could it be that there were other people who had designs on Zichen? Were they trying to snatch him from him? Suddenly, rays of light appeared in front of them. One by one, demonic creatures appeared. Compared to the other demonic creatures, these seemed more agile, as if they were intelligent creatures. Moreover, their bodies exuded a dangerous aura. The difficulty has indeed increased by more than one level. Zichen's heart skipped a beat. The danger ahead was just the beginning. There would definitely be casualties in this team. Feeling the aura exuding from those demonic creatures, everyone's expression changed. They all sensed danger. The fiend celestial beast that had not participated in the battle suddenly flew forward. Like a ray of black light, it came to the forefront. There was a loud bang. It used its body to send a demonic creature flying. When it landed, its body disappeared into thin air, turning into a force. That force exuded a demonic light and was even purer. "It's second only to the royal family's power," someone exclaimed. The power of the royal family was very tempting in the demonic realm. It was what most of the demons pursued. This time, everyone was willing to follow MCMAU because the other party had promised them the benefits of the royal family's power. They did not expect that they would discover a pure demonic power that was second only to the royal family's power. This was a true treasure. When the people who were still a little timid looked at those demonic creatures again, their eyes flashed. They were like misers who saw countless gold coins. Without further instructions from MCMAU, everyone rushed forward and started the battle. With the previous example, MCMAU's attention was always on Zichen. Zichen followed the team and attacked. As for the distribution of the spoils, it was still the same as before. Zichen was the last. After the battle began, the fiend celestial beast rushed forward. Following that, the few people brought by MCMAU also went forward. MCMAU remained at the back. He had not attacked yet. After a while, the group returned under the lead of the fiend celestial beast. Nobody knew what the two of them said, but MCMAU immediately said, "Everyone, let's change our route." MCMAU personally took action and walked in another direction. Zichen's soul energy extended and discovered a towering mountain peak. There were many demonic creatures on the mountain peak, and there was an abnormal fluctuation on the peak. Zichen guessed that MCMAU's real target was there.